about, I think, union and its territories, and we discussed a lot of things. How India was actually reorganized basis of languages, and today we will discuss about the rest of the article in the part 1 of the Constitution. I think we discussed about the very first article, apart from the preamble. We discussed the very first article that stipulates the official name and political structure of India. That is India as a Bharat, Union of States. Anyway, we discussed elaborately what is union, what is federal structure, how India differs from the American structure. That is, federalism is nothing but the relationship between the center and state. So in the way how India is closely connected with the state government, and what kind of relationship India would establish in between the state government. So let's continue from Article 2. Article 2, if you take Article 2, very important, there is another important keyword: admission or establishment of the new state. Admission or establishment of the new state. That is, admission is like when we receive a particular land from the outside world. This is called admission. So admission or establishment, that is a territory which is not there in the Indian Union. We would admit a part of the Union, and we would establish the particular territory, and we would include the particular territory to the Indian Union. This would, Article 2 empowers the Parliament. Article 2 gives power to the Parliament to admit any piece of the land from outside India, because you can correlate from to the preamble. Parliament has the power to admit any part of the land, but Parliament has no power to secede any part of Indian Union to the outside world. This is what the important point and important connection between Article 2 as well as secession of the Indian territory. So Parliament has no power to secede any part of the Indian territory unless it's a fixation of the boundary dispute. For the boundary dispute, you can give a small piece of the land to the neighborhood country for fixing the boundary. But if Parliament wants to give any part of the Indian Union to some other country, that is completely prohibited by the Constitution, and you must make a constitutional amendment to give a part of Indian land to the outside the country. So Article 2 detail discuss about admission, empowers the Parliament. So Article 2 empowers the Parliament to admit a new state into the Union. New state, for example, if Pakistan may give a piece of the land, China may give a piece of the land. So we must admit, or we need not, it is not must, the procedure is, we must give a status of the particular newly admitted territory. So after that only we can induct the particular piece of the territory as the full-fledged state or union territory. Yes. So as of now, we have got only 3 classification. One is normal state. Second one is union territory. Union territory. Third one is national capital territory. These are all the 3 classifications as of now we have. If you admit any new states from the outside of the country, so we need to give any one of the status. Unless if you are unable to give any one of the status, we must give any special status. This is the procedure to admit the new land inside the Indian, that is Indian Union, or establish the new state through the law. Establishes. So 2 words, admission and establishes. So admit, one is like we are admitting a land which is from the outside of the world. Establish, we are creating the new state which was not in the Indian Union. This is called admission and establishment. So in India,
excuse me, sir, sorry to interrupt you, sir. So your camera is on, but do you mind sharing your screen as well?
Oh, just a minute. I'll share my screen. Sorry. Thanks for remembering me. Is it okay now?
Yes, sir. Now it's okay.
Yes. Thank you. Yes, we have got 3 categories. 3 categories of the Indian territory. One is full-fledged state, full-fledged statehood. Second one is union territory, and third one is national capital territory. So for your clarity, I would give you an example, very funny example, don't write in the examination. So everybody is familiar with the Sri Kailasa. You know that? I don't know. I'm not discussing about whether it has got a state, the status of the state or not. But if Nityananda want to admit the Sri Kailasa to India, the Sri Kailasa must be given either statehood or union territory or national capital territory. If you are unable to give any one of the status, Sri Kailasa must be treated separate entity like associate state, which was given to the Sikkim previously. Associate state. So to give any one of the status for the Indian Union, we have only three categories in the Indian Union. The admitted state must be give any one of the status. Got it? Otherwise, we must treat in a separate entity. Like we treated Kashmir as a special status state. We treated Sikkim as a special status state. Likewise, before completely inducting the particular land to the Indian Union, we must treat in a separate manner other special status normally. So if the particular land is almost like in India, then we need not to treat as a separate entity. We can directly add it to the Indian state as a one of the state, Indian Union. Clear? Okay. So
for example, Bhutan Indian army they got Bhutan's border also. So Bhutan India part
yeah, that is international relationship between the Bhutan and we are extending our help to the Bhutan. That's all. Defense, we have got a very good Indian foreign policy, and Bhutan is also a very good neighbor. So we are exchanging. Our neighborhood always will look in the very cordial manner. Bhutan is one of the very best neighbor. Sometimes exchange of the defense power, exchange of the defense expo normal. That's all. So in India, though the parliamentary sanction is not required the acquisition of territory, so government of India can get a new land. Parliamentary sanction is not required. For example, if you are a prime minister, you can simply get a land as a piece of land as a prize or the gift to the like a piece of land from the Pakistan as a gift to India. But you must get the approval to induct the particular land into the Indian Union. So government alone can take a decision of the acquisition of the land. In the parliamentary sanction is not required for the acquisition of the territory, but parliamentary legislation is required to bring formal and legal assimilation of the acquisition of the new territory as a part of Indian Union. Like, yeah, you can receive a land, but if you want to make it as a part of Indian Union, you must have a parliament sanction. Because previously it was a land of the outsiders. Now, if you want to put into the Indian Union, the box of the Indian Union, you must get a parliament approval. It's somewhat like a very complicated issue. Like if I give you a gift to you, you can receive a gift. But if you want to put a gift in your home, you get approval from your parents. This is what the simple explanation. You can simply receive the land. Prime Minister alone and the cabinet alone simply receive the land from the outsider. But if you want to put it to the Indian Union, parliament approval is necessary. So otherwise, you can treat a particular land in a very, very, very special entity or a separate entity. Then it cannot be treated on par with the Indian state or a union territory. But sometime ஒரு சில என்ன பண்றோம்னா இப்போ இந்த பாகிஸ்தான் ஆக்குபைட் காஷ்மீர், உங்க ஜியோகிராஃபில கூட யூ டிஸ்கஸ் இட். Pakistan occupied Kashmir, whether we really don't know whether it belong to the India or not. ஒருவேளை யூஎன்ல டிஸ்பியூட் ஆகி இது பாகிஸ்தானோடதுன்றது, if it is proven, again Pakistan is ready to give it as a Pakistan occupied Kashmir to India, now we need to follow this one. Most of the time the disputed land இப்படிதான் வந்து முடியும். Disputed கொடுக்க மாட்டாங்க. ஆனா இந்த இன்டர்நேஷனல் பாலிடிக்ஸ் எப்படி வேணா மாறலாமா? கண்டிப்பா கொடுக்க மாட்டாங்க. பட் பாகிஸ்தானோட இப்ப இருக்கிற எக்கனாமிக் ஸ்டேட்டஸ்க்கு if they make a deal with India for giving a food grains or giving the economical support, instead of that we'll give a Pakistan occupied Kashmir to India அப்படின்னா there is a possibility. அப்போ நம்மளுக்கு லீகல் சாங்ஷன் வேணும்ல. அப்போ அங்க வந்து பார்லிமெண்ட்ல should not create the problem.
ஆனா நம்ம 1947ல மகாராஜா ஹரிசிங் கிட்ட வாங்கும் போதே அவரே வந்து அந்த ஹோல் ஜம்மு அண்ட் காஷ்மீரை இந்தியா கிட்ட தரங்கறதுன்னா
ஆமா இன்ஸ்ட்ருமெண்ட் ஆஃப் அக்செஷன். இல்ல அதான் நான் சொன்னேன். இன் கேஸ் யூஎன்ல ஒருவேளை ஃபேவரபிள் டு பாகிஸ்தான். ஐ நோ தட் மகாராஜா ஹரிசிங்ல இருந்து நம்ம வாங்கினோம், அதுக்கப்புறம் பாகிஸ்தான் ஆக்குபை பண்ணுது. ஒருவேளை குளோபல் பாலிடிக்ஸ் ஃபேவரபிள் டு தி பாகிஸ்தான் என்ன பண்ண முடியும்? மோஸ்ட் ஆஃப் த டைம் இந்தியா இந்த மாதிரி இன்டர்நேஷனல் பாடியில எவ்வளவு சேர்த்து இப்ப கூட அதெல்லாம் உங்களுக்கு புரியறதுக்காக நான் சொல்றேன். எக்கனாமிக் இப்ப கூட பாகிஸ்தான் இட் வாஸ் வெரி கிளியர் இன் இண்டஸ் வாட்டர் ட்ரீட்டி தட் இட் ஹஸ் பி ப்ராப்பர்லி டிமார்கேட்டட் 3 rivers to the India, 3 rivers to the Pakistan. So India is erecting a dam in the allocated river, 3 rivers in the Indus, that is all the east flowing river. Why Pakistan is opposing? In fact already treaty 60% of water Pakistan தான் போறாது. நம்மளுக்கு வர the water which is enter into the India is erecting a dam in the particular river. Why Pakistan file a case in the UN? இது ஆல்வேஸ் பாகிஸ்தான்ல நடக்கிறதா. பிகாஸ் பார்டர் டிஸ்பியூட்ல they will always disturbing us. இண்டஸ் வாட்டர் ட்ரீட்டி நான் எடுக்கிறேன் அதுவும் உங்களுக்கு. ஸோ அந்த டைம்ல ஒரு எக்ஸ்ட்ரானரி கேஸ்ல if somebody gives land to the India na, do you have a நாளைக்கு அந்த question should not be addressed in the parliament. Do you have a legal sanction to admit a land from the outside? கேட்டா என்ன பண்றது? I thought constitution was very clear in the assembly that because we were completely affected with the partition of India between the Pakistan and India. In case if Pakistan itself is admitted to the India tomorrow, அந்த மாதிரி அட்மிட் பண்ணும்போது இந்த ப்ரொவிஷன் இப்ப இல்லைன்னு வைங்க, some people will raise the voice that you should not admit the Pakistan, especially for the Hindu side உள்ளவங்க பாகிஸ்தான் அட்மிட் பண்ணக்கூடாதுப்பா. Those who want to integrity as well as the previous territorial setup இருக்கிற மாதிரி கேட்க you must admit the Pakistan. அப்போ parliament must decide it whether do we have a power to admit the land which is not in the Indian Union or not. This is what the article 2. So நீங்க சொல்றது right, nobody will give their land to the somebody, but if such situation arises we must be ready. For அந்த டைம்ல போய் we cannot constitution amendment பண்ண முடியாது. புது ஆர்டிகல்
சப்போஸ் இப்போ பாகிஸ்தான்ல எக்கனாமிக் கிரைசிஸ் ரொம்ப ஓவரா போயிடுச்சு, அவங்களால இது ஹேண்டில் பண்ண முடியல அப்படிங்கிற பட்சத்துல நம்ம கூட இந்தியா கூட வந்து ஜாயின் பண்றேன்ற மாதிரி சொன்னாங்க. இந்தியாவும் அட்மிட் பண்ணிட்டாங்க. அப்ப அதுல கான்ஃப்ளிக்ட் வராதா?
what kind of conflict?
சரி, எப்படினாலுமே இந்தியன்ஸ் வந்து
ஆமா, அது வந்து நம்ம இன்டர்னல் செக்யூரிட்டி கண்டிப்பா இன்டர்னல் செக்யூரிட்டி
இன்செக்யூர் ஃபீல் வரும்.
இன்செக்யூர் ஃபீல் why? அதான் அது டிபெண்ட்ஸ் அப்பான் போத் கண்ட்ரி சாவரனிட்டி. லீடர் ஷுட் பி அதை பேசி தீக்கணும். இப்ப
அவங்க இங்க வந்தா கொஞ்சம் செட்டில் ஆகிறதுக்கு ஒரு டைம் ஆகும்.
ஆமா,
அப்போ வந்து
நம்ம மைக்ரேஷன் should not be allowed. அங்க இருக்கிற people they should reside there. Migration should not be allowed. We would join your land to the Indian Union. We will provide support to the all, like we will treat us as one of the Indian state. Migration is not allowed சொல்லிட்டா ப்ராப்ளம் இருக்காது. சிவில் வாரா? எல்லாம் ஸ்பெகுலேஷன் தான் என்ன பொறுத்து. இப்ப இப்போ எக்கனாமிக் கிரைசிஸ் வந்தா how people will think that if somebody is give a help,
அவன் வந்து எப்படா சான்ஸ் கிடைக்கும்ன்ற மாதிரி இப்ப நம்மளே
சரி லீவ் பாகிஸ்தான் ஸ்ரீலங்கா. அப்போ நம்மளுக்கு இன்செக்யூரிட்டி கிடையாது. ஆல்ரெடி சீமானா தான் சொல்றாரு, either தமிழ்நாடு is to be given to ஸ்ரீலங்கா or ஸ்ரீலங்கா is to be joined with தமிழ்நாடு. அந்த டைம்ல we must have a clear provisions in the constitution.
This also include territories which are affected during war.
No, not war. அதான் சொல்லல, acquisitionக்கு you need not to have any kind of parliament sanction. At the same time, if your acquisition by the war or any kind of acquisition to put into the Indian Union parliament, same தான். Acquisition towards any mean. நீ போய் war பண்ணிட்டு acquisition பண்ணால் you can acquire the land, or gift you can acquire the land. But to join the particular land to the Indian Union, parliament must approve it.
Sir, அப்படியே சொல்றேன். இப்ப ஸ்ரீலங்கா வந்து நீங்க சொன்னீங்க. ஸ்ரீலங்கா வந்து நம்ம கூட ஜாயின் பண்ணா இது வரும். ஆனா இப்போ வந்து ஸ்ரீலங்கா இஸ் லைக் பப்பட் ஆஃப் சைனா அந்த மாதிரி தான் இருக்கு. பப்பட், ஆமா. அப்ப சைனா வந்து அவங்க அகைன்ஸ்ட் பண்ணுவாங்க. நீங்க
கண்டிப்பா அகைன்ஸ்ட் பண்ணுவான். சைனா உக்ரைன் மாதிரியே வார் நடக்கும். உக்ரைன் எப்படி நாட்டோல போய் சேரும்போது உக்ரைன் வார் நடக்கும், ரஷ்யன் உக்ரைன் வார். அது மாதிரி there may be the war between India and China. பட் ஒருவேளை சைனா நியூட்ரல் ஸ்டாண்ட் எடுத்துட்டா, if Sri Lanka is going to join with India, there is a possibility. ஆமா, எல்லாமே ஜியோ பாலிடிக்ஸ்ல எல்லாமே ஸ்பெகுலேஷன் தான். அதாவது I never thought about the Ukraine war வந்து would be sustained in 2.5 years sustain நினைக்கவே இல்லை. ஏன்னா எல்லாருமே உக்ரைன் வாஸ் அண்டர் எஸ்டிமேட்டட். ரஷ்யாவோட ஈக்குவல் பண்ணி பார்க்கும்போது உக்ரைன் வாஸ் அண்டர் எஸ்டிமேட்டட். டோட்டலா மேக்ஸிமம் 3 months 4 months, அது கொரோனா முடிஞ்ச டைம். ஆனா 2.5 years it was sustained with the help of with the hidden help of the western side. அவன் வெஸ்டர்ன் சைடு வந்து இதுதான் ஜியோ பாலிடிக்ஸ். நம்ம நினைக்கிறது நடக்காது. ஸோ சம்டைம் இப்படி நடந்திருக்கலாம். உக்ரைன் மஸ்ட் ஹவ் பீன் சரண்டர் பண்ணிட்டு நேட்டோ கோல் இருந்தா கூட வார் ஸ்டாப்பா இருக்கும். உக்ரைனுக்கு இதுக்கு மேல என்ன ஃபுல் ஸ்கேல் வார் வேணும்? இன்னைக்கு இருக்கிற வார் ஸ்ட்ராட்டஜில this must be treated as a full scale. இன்னைக்கு இருக்கிற வார் ஸ்ட்ராட்டஜி. இப்போ when it was a first world war, second world warல full scale வார்ங்கற scenario different. இப்போ எல்லாமே lethal weapons. இப்போ full scale வார்ங்கிறது what you define?
லீகலா இருந்தாங்க ரஷ்யா வந்து அவங்களோட ஆர்ம்ஸ் அண்ட் அமிஷன்ஸ் நிறைய ஜாஸ்தி.
அதுக்கு 2.5 years இவன் ரிட்டாரேட் பண்ணிருக்கானே எவ்வளவு பெரிய விஷயம். ரஷ்யா இஸ் சூப்பர் பவர். அதுவும் இந்த பைபோலார் வேர்ல்டுல சூப்பர் பவர். அதாவது ரஷ்யா ஈவன் வித்வுட் ஹெல்பிங் ஆஃப் தி அதர் கண்ட்ரி, ரஷ்யா கேன் சப்ரஸ் எனி கண்ட்ரி. ரஷ்யாக்கு எந்த விதமான எக்கனாமிக் சப்போர்ட் தேவையில்ல. ஆயில் வெல் அதிகமா இருக்கு ரஷ்யால, ஆயில் சப்போர்ட், எலக்ட்ரிசிட்டி. ஆனா உக்ரைன் ஒன் ஆஃப் தி யூஎஸ்எஸ்ஆர்ல ஒரு டைம் இட் வாஸ் ஒன்ஸ் அப்பான் எ டைம் இட் வாஸ் அண்டர் தி யூஎஸ்எஸ்ஆர். இந்த ஜியோ பாலிடிக்ஸ்ல நம்ம நினைக்கிறது எதுவுமே சம்டைம் நடக்காது அன்டில் இட்ஸ் கம்ப்ளீட்டட் வித் ட்ரீட்டி. அது வரைக்கும் ஒரு இந்த சைடா அந்த சைடான்னு நம்ம ஒரு ஸ்பெகுலேஷன்லேயே தான் இருப்போம் நம்ம. தட்ஸ் வை இப்போ நம்ம கிளாஸ்ல பேசுறோம் ஏதோ பாகிஸ்தான் இஸ் a lifetime enemy of India. நாளைக்கே it is joined with India, it may become 29th state of India. நம்ம can we raise a voice against it? ஒரு 10 days அதை பத்தி controversial talk போகும். 11th day will move on to the next issue. People now, nobody is speaking about the Manipur issue. People started speaking about IPC tomorrow morning. யாராவது பேசுறோம் மணிப்பூர் பத்தி? Once upon a time Manipur was out of Indian Union. Sikkim was out of Indian Union. If you still go to the I told you that northeastern state, people would introduce you like if you have a friend in the Manipur or Arunachal Pradesh, if you go to and meet your friend, they will introduce you as she is my best friend, she is from India. They'll introduce to their people, she is from India. So they thought that they are not in India. We only claim that Arunachal Pradesh is under the Indian control. China claims that part of the Arunachal Pradesh is their country. இதெல்லாம் ரிசால்வ் பண்ணும்போது இந்த மாதிரி ஆர்டிகல் 2 தேவைப்படும். கிளியரா? எஸ். ஸோ மூவ் ஆன் டு அதுதான் இஃப் ஸ்ரீ கைலாஸ் இஸ் கோயிங் டு பி either don't write in the examination and அது because he is a Hindu man and BJP is a right wing party. இது எங்க it seems to be claimed that it is under the equator, near the equator, Latin American equator. It is going to be admitted in the Indian Union, so BJP government or the ruling party can acquire the Sri Kailasa. But if you want to establish or if you want to admit inside the Indian Union, you must get a parliament approval, article 2. This is what the definition or prescription of the article 2. So that is what I will give you the Sikkim as the example. Sikkim as the example. The previous status of the Sikkim, that is acquisition of the new territory as the part of the article 2, and article 3, acquired state is merged into the existing state. So acquired state is merged into the existing state is might be article 3. under Article 3. So status of the Sikkim. Sikkim was admitted as an associated state. This is a very important. We have got a separate article for Sikkim. So we acquired Sikkim as a separate land and we inserted the constitution 2A. Now the 2A is not there, 2A, because under the Article 2, Sikkim was admitted. Under special Article 2A, Sikkim was treated as an associate state. It was not given a full statehood. It was not given a union territory status and no more the national capital territory also. It was given a special status like associate state under Article 2A. And finally, this Sikkim was admitted an associate state without being a member of the Indian Union. And it is made possible by inserting a new Article 2A by the Constitution of Article 1974, 35th Amendment. Here I would give you the very important notes that in United States of America, all the states are equal. If you go to New York, if you go to Mexico, all the states are to be treated equally by the federal government of United States. But India, there is a clear discrimination between the state. Like Pondicherry is a union territory, Tamil Nadu is a state. They have been struggling for the 10 years, since 10 years statehood. So it is a discrimination. All states are not given an equal status in India. That's why whenever we are not able to give a particular status for the newly admitted state, we must treat it as a separate entity. But if you go to USA, all the 50 states are enjoying equal power, because it's a proper federal system, the proper federal demarcations of the power. So by the Constitution 36th Amendment, Sikkim was admitted to the Indian Union and give a full-fledged state, and the name was entered into the first schedule of the Constitution. If you go to the first schedule, all the boundaries of the states are clearly mentioned in the first schedule. So although it was admitted in the name of the associate state, finally in the 36th Amendment only, Sikkim was admitted into the Union of India and it is entered into the first schedule. So very important, the Supreme Court held that the Constitution does not mandate that new state should in all respect be the same as the other state. This is what I told you. Constitution did not mandate the parliament, all the states should be treated equally. We have got some of the important differentiations and some of the discriminations between the state. All the states cannot be treated equally. This is not the Indian model of federalism also. Unlike America, all the states would be treated equal manner. If you are in America, if some state is to be admitted to the American federalism, that is to be given the equal status as the other states. But in India, we will not treat all the states in an equal manner. This is one of the major important different or essential feature of the Indian federalism when compared with the American federalism, comparative politics. So unlike the constitutions of the US and Australia, the Constitution does not follow the theory of equality of status. Indian Constitution does not follow the equality of the status. That's why sometimes we may not give the equal status to the newly admitted state into the Indian Union. This is so because the heart of the American Federation is an agreement, but the Indian Federation is not an agreement. So here in India, all the states and union territories are mere administrative entity of the central government. But if you go to United States of America, all the 50 states came into the common agreement, and they created the common federation or forum that is called United States of America. Here India, it is a Republic of India. Here their states have not been united. We have got only one unity called India, and an internal arrangement or internal demarcation of the boundary for administrative convenience, not for the agreement. It is not an agreement for creation of the federation. But America, it is a proper agreement between all the 50 countries. I could say the 50 countries, and it has been created. All the North American continent is the United States of America because of the basis of the very, very homogeneous population. But it cannot be applicable. The doctrine cannot be applicable in India because of the multi-diverse country and multi-diverse population. So this is so because of the heart of the American Federation is an agreement among the various independent states in the America, and the same cannot be altered without the consent of the legislature of those states. In America, if the state boundary is going to be altered by the federal government, state legislature consent is necessary. That is another essential difference and important difference when compared with the Indian politics. Here, central government can change any part of the boundary inside in India. But in America, federal government cannot change any part of the boundary inside the American federal system. That is, if the American federal government want to change the boundary of New York, Mexico, then New York and Mexico should admit and should give an assent to change the boundary. But if the central government want to bifurcate the state of Tamil Nadu, so they need not to get an opinion from Tamil Nadu. This is like a landowner. So the territorial the integrity is not guaranteed in India. Inside India, boundary can be altered time to time. No need of state government authorization. So third one is, this is what? Formation of the new state. This is internal formation of the new state. Like if we are going to bifurcate Tamil Nadu as a North Tamil Nadu and South Tamil Nadu. South Tamil Nadu will have the capital of Madurai. Let's take the scenario. Formation of the new state, alteration of areas, boundaries, or names of the existing state. This is what prescribed in Article 3. Solrema, different. Acquire the state is merged into an existing state. That Article 2 and Article 3 is a major difference. Let me open the whiteboard. Article 2, you are admitting a new land to the Indian Union. As I told you, Pakistan may be the 29th state of India. Instead of creating as a 29th state, if Pakistan is going to be merged with the Punjab, then still you would have 28 state. You have two options. Either you can create a Pakistan as a 29th state, or you can merge the Pakistan to the Punjab. It will be 28th. So if you take this stand, then you must treat it as a separate state. You take this stand on Article 3. Because by merging, you are altering the boundary of Punjab. Okay? That is why Article 3 is applicable. You are not altering the Pakistan boundary. You are altering the Punjab boundary. Article 3. The internal arrangement, the demarcation, alteration of the Punjab boundary. And Article 3 is applicable. It is like you are going to rearrange the internal boundary of Indian state. So Article 3 is applicable. So enna scenario ku enna article irudhu, be careful. Just wait. So this is what? Merger into the existing state. So Article 3, by separation of the territory from any state, internal arrangement, by uniting two or more states or part of the state, by uniting any territory to the part of any state, it can increase or diminish the area and alter the boundaries and the name of the state also. So central government, by Article 3, Parliament of India completely empower to alter any part of the India internally. Even you can, the admitted state can be merged with the existing state also. That is called realteration. That is what the reorganization of the state. And this is one important arrangement here. So to reorganize any state, listen carefully, because sometimes, many of the time, for the political purpose or for the vote banking politics, the state would be bifurcated or trifurcated. What is the procedure? Procedure 2, that is reorganize the state. Reorganize is nothing but that is diminishing the boundaries, changing the boundaries, or you can bifurcate and you can merge the part of the state to the other part of the state. Anything can be done by the parliament by Article 3. So the procedure is, number 1, that must be separate bill to be tabled in the parliament called a particular state in the name of, but take it as example, if you are going to divide or split Tamil Nadu as 2 entities, Tamil Nadu State Reorganization Bill. It must be called like this. Tamil Nadu State Reorganization Bill. Andhra Pradesh, on that time, and the bill was passed as Andhra Pradesh Reorganization Bill. Andhra Pradesh Reorganization Bill 2014. 2014. Tamil Nadu State Reorganization Bill 2023. Okay, and very important, this bill must be tabled in the parliament with the prior recommendation of the president. This is somewhat like a very special procedure in the constitution. Prior recommendation of the president.
For example, we'll assume that Tamil Nadu is being bifurcated into two different states. If the present incumbent government, will it be dismissed?
எதுக்கு இந்த கவர்மெண்ட்? நோ, இப்போ இருக்கிற கவர்மெண்ட் which state is going to be called Tamil Nadu? அந்த தமிழ்நாடுக்கு தமிழ்நாடு கவர்மெண்ட். இப்போ நீங்க இப்போ தமிழ்நாடு ஸ்டேட் ரிஆர்கனைசேஷன் பில்ல if you split na how many MLAs is going to be? இப்போ 234 MLA. 234 MLA, how you are going to split it? Equal பிரிச்சோம்னா 117 117. Where Chennai is located, anga present government. Yes, Chennai anga present government. So newly formed in one irukla. Sometimes Chennai may be the common capital, but which is going to be newly formed territory would form a new assembly. In the assembly caretaker irukko new assembly form பண்றோம்.
அங்க வந்து யார் மெஜாரிட்டி
re-election. Newly state la immediate ruling party election, general election to be conducted. Anga newly assembly.
ஆந்திரா தெலுங்கானாக்கு ஹைதராபாத்
இருந்துச்சு.
இப்போ வந்து அவங்க நியூ அசெம்பிளி.
ஆமா, நியூ அசெம்பிளி தெலுங்கானா லெஜிஸ்லேட்டிவ் அசெம்பிளி சந்திரசேகர ராவ் சிஎம். கேபிட்டல் 10 yearsக்கு காமன் கேபிட்டல் பிகாஸ் ஆஃப் எக்கனாமிக் ஸ்டேட்டஸ். அங்க இமிடியேட்டா ஆக்சுவலி ஹைதராபாத் இஸ் கோயிங் டு பி given தெலுங்கானா. ஆந்திராக்கு தான் அமராவதி நகர். அமராவதி தானே, அமராவதி அதை எஸ்டாப்ளிஷ் அப்போ அமராவதி அந்த அதை எஸ்டாப்ளிஷ் பண்ற வரைக்கும் டைம் மஸ்ட் பி given. ஏன்னா அங்க இருக்கிற அட்மினிஸ்ட்ரேட்டிவ் மெஷினரி எல்லாம் ஷிஃப்ட் பண்ணணும், அதனால டைம் given. ஸோ காமன் கேபிட்டலா இருந்தா கூட we need to identify which is newly formed state. ஏன்னா இப்ப 28 which is 29, அந்த 29th state தான் newly formed state. So existing statusக்கு current CM தான் CM. So first point, with the prior recommendation of the president, the state reorganization bill must be tabled in the parliament. And there is no restriction. It can be tabled in either house of the parliament. No restriction. It can be introduced in the Lok Sabha as well as Rajya Sabha. Both are enjoying the equal status, because when I deal the parliament power, Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha are enjoying equal status for creating the new state inside India or altering the state boundary inside India. So point 1, prior recommendation. Point 2, the bill must be introduced in the name of reorganization bill in either house of the parliament. And next, and once parliament is passed, then it would be enforced. And meantime, president may, this is a very important procedure here, president may refer the bill to the concerned state. Listen carefully, but president need not to wait for the reply. Even though the reply is given in the stipulated time, that won't affect the decision which is taken by the parliament. Like if I am the president for the state government CM, I can send the bill to your state legislative assembly. You have an option of saying yes, no, or no reply. Any kind of reply, it will not affect the president power or the parliament power. This is what the Indian sovereignty, internal sovereignty. Even by referring the bill to your state legislative assembly, from the very next day, I refer to the parliament. I need not to wait for your reply also. It is like inform you that we are going to bifurcate your state. We need not to wait for your opinion, or we not to wait for your concern. And now, because the same thing happened in the case of Andhra, you know what happened? Actually, Congress was ruling in the parliament. Same Congress was ruling in the Andhra Pradesh. That was the CM YS Rajasekhar Reddy. Our payanda ipa CM newly formed Congress, YSR Congress. YS Rajasekhar Reddy was a congressman. So when the Manmohan Singh government proposed the bill that Andhra Pradesh is going to be bifurcated, the entire Andhra state, even though the ruling party was Congress inside, they vehemently opposed. opposed in the parliament, but parliament decided that Andhra is going to be divided. And based on the finance commission report, based on the backwardness of the particular coastal area, all the coastal area would be measured and given the separate status of state called Telangana state. Telangana state. So president may refer the bill, but president need not to wait for the reply, even though the response is given to the within the stipulated time. That is what the power of the parliament.
சரி, இப்போ அந்த ஆந்திரா பில் வந்து கொடுக்குறாங்க. அது யாருக்கு? ஆந்திரா கவர்மெண்ட்.
Andhra government kudukaduma. There are two possibilities. Mostly state will not bifurcate itself, but even if the state government, if they want to bifurcate the state government, state must just request the central government to bifurcate. நீங்க தான் இப்ப state CM na, you must request Prime Minister Modi and the central government to divide our state. You can't divide our state. Otherwise, central government decide to bifurcate the state, central government can do it.
Central government decision எடுக்கறாங்கன்னா, suppose state பிடிக்கலனா
ஒண்ணுமே பண்ண முடியாது. You simply watch and wait. ஸ்டேட்டுக்கு ஆந்திரா பிடிக்கவே இல்லை, என்ன பண்ண முடியும்? தடுக்கவே முடியாது. In fact, very recently, Jammu Kashmir was trifurcated. மூணா பிரிச்சப்ப Jammu Kashmir people, nobody likes the decision. என்ன பண்ணாங்க? அதுதான். அந்த லடாக், ஜம்மு காஷ்மீர் லடாக், இந்த லடாக்ங்கிறது தனியா எடுக்கும் போதே இட் பிகம் 3 territory. That is what trifurcated சொல்லுவாங்க. முன்னாடி ஜம்மு காஷ்மீர், இப்போ it become a Ladakh also particular strategic point ஆயிடுச்சுல. That's what.
Sir, Ladakh வந்து again the people wanted a union territory status. அங்க லடாக்ல வந்து
people wanted union territory status. Was referendum conducted?
Sir, இல்ல sir, like there were many demands. Ladakh was demanding a UT status for a long time.
Now by whom?
By the people themselves. They were saying that when the central government kulla vanda, they will have certain 6th schedule la வந்து எங்க include பண்ணா, we will also like have enjoy the same rights as all tribal rights வந்து எங்களுக்கு safeguards இருக்கும். So all those safeguards வச்சு எங்களுக்கு வந்து it will be எப்படி சொல்றது, அந்த 6th schedule la வந்து safeguards கான்செப்ட்னா will be safe-ங்கிற மாதிரி.
Yeah, that is a demand, but in my perspective, Ladakh was given the UT because of the war cloud. My perspective, that we would discuss the Kashmir issue.
சரி, எப்பவுமே இந்த பில் வந்து பிரசிடென்ட் மூலமா
கண்டிப்பா.
சப்போஸ் பிரசிடென்ட் பர்టిక్యులர் they she or he can reject or
no, because in this particular issue, president is supposed to be act and advice of the prime minister. அவர் கொடுக்குற advice இந்த president send. It is a policy making of the central government. He must send the bill. So இப்போ அந்த இடத்துல அவர் அதை ரிஜெக்ட் பண்ண முடியாது. Any other doubt on this? Okay.
Sir, so in case like if the state government wants to bifurcate, but let's say it's a Congress ruled state government, right?
Yes.
And the BJP is in the center, so obviously it won't happen, right? Like the BJP won't maybe allow or support this thought.
I didn't understand your question. You put it in a comment box here. The speaker is not very clear now. Aditi, put it in a comment box.
Okay.
Yes.
slide.
Ayyo, sharing stop. Okay. Sir, if the state want to divide and the government is Congress, you know that in the current scenario, Aditi, if the state wants to divide and the government is Congress, and depends upon the, I think your question is, you are asking about the current scenario. Yes, so let me explain. If the state government is in a Congress, state want to divide the particular state, whatever may be the state decision, central government decision is final. Central government may accept the bifurcation of the state, or central government can outrightly reject the request of the state government for the bifurcation of the state.
இன்னொரு ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் ஸ்டேட் கவர்மெண்டே வந்து இந்த மாதிரி பைஃபர்கேட் பண்ணணும்னு சொல்லி அலோகேட்டிங் சட்டம். ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் இப்போ தமிழ்நாடு எடுத்தோம்னா அப்புறம் கோயம்புத்தூர் டில் ஏதோ ஒரு திருநெல்வேலி இந்த மாதிரி வந்து அதை வந்து பைஃபர்கேட் பண்ணிட்டு அப்படின்னா அதே ஆல்டர்னேட்டிவ் அதே ஒரு பவுண்டரி சென்ட்ரல் கவர்மெண்ட் அக்செப்ட் பண்ணுவாங்க.
நோ நீட். At the end of the day, central government எடுக்கிறதா everything is a decision. So ஒருவேளை if you have a very good relationship between the state and central government simply accept your opinion. Otherwise, the central government decision is final. Whatever may be the district, the particular state or the newly created state, how many district is going to be given, everything must be decided by the central government.
Indian people are puppet.
இது people எப்படிமா puppet? இதுக்கு தான் நான் நார்மலி
ஆந்திரா கவர்மெண்ட்க்கு அது
விருப்பம் இல்ல.
அதுல அந்த பீப்புளுக்கு அது விருப்பம் கிடையாது. அங்க இருக்க மக்கள் அப்ப அவங்க பிரிச்சுட்டாங்கன்னா
அதுக்கு தான் ஐ வுட் கம்பேர் இட். இப்போ லைக் இந்தியாவோட ஸ்டேட் கவர்மெண்ட் எப்படி அப்படின்னா, இதை நான் ஏற்கனவே ஐ ஹவ் given. Aditi, are you clear with the doubt?
Yes sir.
Yes, it is like you are a land owner, you gave your land as a lease to somebody else. If you want to change the internal boundary of your land, why should you wait for the leasee? Ida Indian Federation. Land is yours. இதெல்லாம் நீங்க மாத்தணும்னு நினைக்கிறீங்க. Will you get consent from the people, those who are a tenant in your land?
Okay sir.
இல்ல வேற இல்ல, I'm just comparing.
அது சென்ட்ரல் கவர்மெண்ட் வந்து எல்லா பீப்புளையும் அவங்க வந்து அப்படி நினைக்க முடியாது.
எல்லா பீப்புளையும் நினைக்க முடியாதுன்னா ஐ மீன் வெரி குட். இந்த இடத்துல if you say that Andhra Pradesh is a people and sovereignty of people, what is parliament? What is parliament? Andhra people don't like to bifurcate. Andhra legislature is declining the bifurcation, but the entire parliament is approving the bifurcation. What is parliament? Other represent பண்ணது. So when entire India is ready to bifurcate the Andhra, but Andhra itself is not ready. அப்ப யார் சொல்றது கேட்கணும்? ரெஃபரண்டம்லாம் கண்டக்ட் பண்ண முடியாது. So உங்க பாயிண்ட் வேற. என்டையர் இந்தியா, பாகிஸ்தான் இஸ் என்டையர் இந்தியா. சாரி பாகிஸ்தான் சொல்லி ஐம் சாரி. Parliament is an entire India. When the entire India admitting the bifurcation of the Andhra Pradesh, but the particular state Andhra Pradesh is not ready. Who has more power? Whose will is going to be implemented? இந்த மாதிரி நீங்க சாவரனிட்டின்னு சொன்னீங்க சார். அப்ப how people is to be puppet ன்னு சொன்னா அப்ஜெக்ட் பண்ணாலும் மெஜாரிட்டி அப்ஜெக்ட் பண்ணாங்க. அதான் சொன்னால the entire இங்க பார்லிமெண்ட் டெமோக்ரஸில மெஜாரிட்டி ஒப்பீனியன் தான்மா. ஆனா அதேதான் அந்த பொண்ணுக்கு விருப்பமே இல்லாம கல்யாணம் எப்ப நடக்கும்னா பேரண்ட்ஸ் டிசைட் பண்ணிட்டதுதான். ஆமா பண்ணிட்டதான். யூ ஹாவ் டு லிவ் வித் யுவர் பார்ட்னர். போராடினா கடைசியில என்ன பண்ண முடியும்? என்ன பண்ண முடியும்? கடைசியில போராடிட்டு மேக்கப் போட்டு போய் உட்காரணும் பிரைட் குரூப். யூ ஹாவ் டு லிவ் வித் யுவர் பார்ட்னர். கரெக்டா இல்ல? எனிவே I'll clarify your doubt. ஒன்ஸ் அப்போ ஒரு 5 வருஷம் 6 வருஷம் ஆனோன்னா யூ பிகம் a made for each other. இப்ப ஆந்திராவும் தெலுங்கானா பிகம் a made for each other. இப்ப சண்டை போட்டுருக்காங்க ரெண்டு பேரும். 2014 10 years ஆயிடுச்சு. 1 decade போயிடுச்சு. இப்போ people are not fighting for each other. இந்த ஹைதராபாத்துக்கு சண்டையே போடல. We don't want Hyderabad. அது லைஃப்ல ஹஸ்பண்ட் ஒய்ஃப் மாதிரி தான் இந்த பைஃபரிகேஷனும். ஸோ நீங்க பேசுறது யுனைட் பத்தி, நான் பிரிக்கிறத பத்தி பேசுறேன். அவ்வளவுதான். இங்க யூனியன் ஆஃப் ரிலேஷன்ஷிப், நான் இங்க பைஃபரிகேஷன் ஆஃப் தி யூனியன். அதனால ஒன்னுக்கும் we need not to wait for the state opinion like a federation of the America they must give a opinion, state government opinion. Without getting the state government opinion you can never change the boundary. அதனால if you take an American map how it was in the 1516 இப்போ வரைக்கும் அப்படி சேம் மேப் தான் சஸ்டெயின் ஆகும். இந்தியால சேம் மேப் இருக்கா? Even in the previous class we discussed about the reorganization of the state and how the states have been emerged in India, evolution of the state system in India. So in the future also, the latest Jammu Kashmir and Ladakh. In future also, we really don't know how many states would be newly emerged in India. So some states would be merged, created. That's why the procedure is that president, with the recommendation of the president, and president would that is refer the particular bill to the state legislature, but the state legislature opinion is not at all taken into the account. The ultimate decision must be taken by the Parliament of India. So the separation of the territory from any state, or uniting two or more states, or part of state, by uniting any territory of the part of any state, all can be done by the Parliament only, irrespective of the interest of the particular state. That's why we can call, listen carefully, what is the word called integrity? What is integrity? How would you define integrity? Preamble integrity. We discussed the word integrity in preamble. You are looking back to the preamble again and again. Okay, give me the literal meaning of the integrity.
Integrity has to conduct in a dignified manner.
Conduct in a dignified manner.
Like, எப்படி சொல்றது? நம்ம வந்து ஒரு நம்மளோட இந்த country we should do whatever is in our control to protect it.
We should protect it. So, listen, territorial integrity is not guaranteed in India. Territorial integrity is not guaranteed. What does it mean? Central government can change any part of India. Other territorial integrity is not guaranteed. Tamil, there is a very right word called Urmaipadu. Other integrity. You cannot expect that Tamil Nadu would be always sustained as a Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu boundaries can be changed at any point of time. You can never expect the territorial integrity. Territorial integrity is not guaranteed in Indian Constitution. So this is what the concept of Article 3. So President recommendation is necessary for the Parliament. No bill for this purpose, that is changing or altering the boundary of the particular state, can be introduced in either house of the Parliament except on the recommendation of the President. So I already simplified. President must recommend. It can be introduced either house of the Parliament, and bill has to be referred by the President to the legislature of such state or state for expressing its views thereon with reasonable time. But President need not wait for the reply. The President or the Parliament is not bound by the views of the state legislature and may either accept or reject, even if the views are received in a time. So you need not wait for the reply. Even the reply which is given by the state is completely against the view of the central government. It is a matter of the President of the Parliament to take a decision on the particular matter. This what, because we always, Tamil Nadu is a state which is always expecting the territorial integrity. Territorial integrity, Tamil Nadu is always a permanent state. Nobody can touch the Tamil Nadu. Definitely not possible. Constitution authorized the Parliament to form a new state or alter the areas, names of the existing state without their consent. This is very important. Even this stupid fellow become a CM on tomorrow. Central government need not to wait for the consent of the particular state government opinion. So don't get trapped into the vote banking politics in Tamil Nadu. Vote banking politics in Tamil Nadu or any of the state without their consent. In other words, the Parliament can redraw the political map of India according to its will, not in the state will. So the territorial integrity or continued existence of any state is not guaranteed. So today we are living in Chennai in the name of Tamil Nadu. Tomorrow, if Chennai can be merged with the Andhra Pradesh, we need to say that we are living in Andhra. We cannot protest against it. Why are you? You'd become a union territory, or or in the Pondicherry and Chennai may become a union territory. எதுவா இருந்தாலும் சரி, we need to accept. இங்க போய் Stalin, these people, those who struggling for territorial integrity, nobody can raise a voice. It is not America.
In case the parliament decides to bifurcate India, can Supreme Court intervene?
No. There are so many cases filed against the bifurcation of Andhra as well as the Jammu Kashmir. Yesterday கூட 370 repeal பண்ணது கேஸ் நடந்துச்சு.
Yes sir, அலையே action கேட்கணும். ஒவ்வொரு நாள் interpretation வந்து
இல்ல, CJ was very clear. CJ was very clear that Jammu Kashmir is a sovereign part of India. நேத்து கபில் சிபலுக்கு CJ க்கு பயங்கர ஆர்குமெண்ட் கோர்ட்ல, very heated argument. Heated argumentல CJ was very clearly and outrightly told, give a reply to that Jammu Kashmir is integral part of India. அவர் வந்து 1948 அப்புறம் கபில் சிபல் never move on to the next argument. They were stand on, when Kapil Sibal was standing on 1948 agreement, 1948 agreement. So அது எப்போ ரிப்பீல் ஆயிருச்சு, 370 ரிப்ளை, இன்ஸ்ட்ருமெண்ட் ஆஃப் அக்சஸ் வாஸ் சைன். ஸோ அது செப்பரேட்டா we will discuss. So இங்க India is rightly described an indestructible union of destructible state. Very, very important. That is indestructible union. State government cannot destroy the union, but central government can destroy the state government. That indestructible union of destructible state. You understood this phrase? State government cannot destroy the central government, but central government can destroy the state government. That indestructible union of destructible state. அது மாதிரி தான். ஆமா, divisible state. அதான் indestructible state and destructible. இதே phrase how will you say in America? அங்க யூனியன் யூஸ் பண்ண கூடாது. destructible எப்படி? அப்ப கூட வந்து when you want to go out of the union, all that is not, constitution amendment is not easy in USA. So if you change this phrase which is suitable for the America, indestructible federation of indestructible provinces, அதான் கரெக்ட். ஆக்சுவலா உங்க புக்ல கூட தப்பா தான் இருக்குன்னு நினைக்கிறேன். அங்க வந்து நம்ம we should not use the word union. அங்க indestructible federation with the indestructible provinces or indestructible state. So union government can destroy the state government, whereas state government cannot destroy the union. Even if all the state government come together, central government cannot be destroyed. So if you go to United States of America, on the other hand, the territorial integrity or the continuity, in the map, everywhere in the map, United States of America, even if you look at the after 10 years of this, same map would be sustained. Alteration of the boundaries is not easy in the America. So continued existence of the state is guaranteed by the Constitution. That the American federal government cannot form a new state or alter the borders of the existing state without the consent of the state concerned. So whatever may be the case, federal government want to, I think not sharing the share பண்ணிருக்க ஸ்கிரீன்ல. Is it shared? Without consent of the state concern. So that is why the USA is described as indestructible federation. உங்க bookல இருக்கனால I take அப்படியே indestructible federation with indestructible provinces. So this is what Article 3. Now we are clear about Article 2 and 3. We discussed Article 1, Article 2, Article 3. Article 4 is very, very easy, that whatever the action you take under the Article 2 or Article 3, it is not the constitutional amendment. Parliament can do it in an ordinary legislative process, but some kind of special procedure that president recommendation is necessary. You need not to amend the constitution for making a new state or altering the boundary. So the law that made for admission or establishment of the new state and formation of the new state and alteration of the areas boundaries are not to be considered as the constitution amendment. You need not to amend the constitution, but at the same time, when you want to give a land of India to the adjacent country or the neighborhood country, amendment is required. For admission, establishment, demarcations of the internal boundary, no constitution amendment is required. But giving the land away to the some other country, constitution amendment is required. That was we discussed in the Perubar Union case. 19th constitution.
Indestructible union of indestructible states ங்கறாங்க அமெரிக்கால. ஆனா இப்போ டெக்சாஸ்லலாம் வந்து they are demanding that we should be independent, we want to be with Mexico.
That must be passed through the constitutional amendment. All the provinces should accept that. They can't easily go out to the Texas. So federal system la all the state, majority of the state would accept பண்ணிக்கணும்ல. Is it possible? That rigid, very rigid constitution. Amendment is not possible. அதனால தான் indestructible union. Demanding na how far it materializes we look over it. 368 tama constitution amendmenting power. Article 368 describe constitution amendment. You need not to use article 368 for redrawing the boundary. That is the crux. For redrawing the boundary, you need not to use article 368. You can go to the article 2 or 3. Article 368 is an extraordinary power of the Parliament of the, India to amend the Indian Constitution. So you need not to introduce a constitution amendment bill for redrawing the boundary. You can simply table the bill on reorganization bill, state reorganization bill. So you don't bother about whether we are going to amend any part of the constitution by altering the boundary or merging the boundary. That 368 is an amendment procedure of the constitution. The extraordinary power of the parliament. Any part of the constitution can be amended through the 368 unless it should not affect the basic structure of the constitution. Any part of the constitution, including preamble, also can be amended with 368, article 368. So this means that such law can be passed by the simple majority by the ordinary legislative procedure. You need not to have any special kind of procedure like amendment of the constitution. Simple majority, ordinary procedure, you can that is, you can change the redraw the boundary. So I think let's sum up it. Article 1, that is India as a Bharat, that is union of state. Article 2, admission or establishment of the new state. Article 3, redrawing the boundary of the existing state. Article 4, the action which is taken by Article 2 and 3 is not the Constitutional Amendment Act. These are the 4 articles. We clearly discuss, including the Manipur issue, the Sikkim issue, and how the present system of the state system evolved in India in comparative with the American Constitution. Everything we discuss. Now move on to the part 2 of the Constitution. That's also another important. Like I would compare even in the very starting of there is Article 1 to 4. I asked a question that when you buy a new land, what do you do? Register. Now it is registered in the name of India or Bharat. Next, you have to decide who has power to enter into the land, because it's your land. So you must decide and you must approve the particular people. Only those your relatives are, because you make a fencing of the land. Now we need to decide who is Indian citizen and who is not. Now the land is ready. That is by Article 1, 2, 3, 4. Indian land is ready. India is ready. Now we need to decide who can enjoy a political and civil rights. This is like an identification of the Indian citizen. That is part 2, Article 5 to 11. We would discuss about citizenship. Very, very complicated and controversial part of the Indian Constitution is citizenship. Because I told you that most of the states are still, they have the thought of they are not living in India. And even yesterday also I asked these new batch students that, are you Indian or Tamil Nadu, or Indian or Rajasthani, or Indian or Andaman Nicobar? When we are residing in Tamil Nadu, we people are always that is fighting that I'm Tamil people and Tamil people. Are you really Indian, or do you have state citizenship in India? I'm asking you. In a spirit, in your spirit, India the na. ஒத்துக்கலாமா அத?
Sir, obviously அங்க ஃபாரின்ல போறச்சே அவங்க வந்து he is not going to ask இந்த எந்த ஸ்டேட்ல இருந்து வரீங்க. அவங்க கேட்பாங்க which country are you coming from?
You need to migrate to prove that you are Indian. say that you are Indian.
எப்படி சொல்றேன்னா இங்க நம்ம வந்து நம்ம ஸ்டேட் நம்ம தமிழ்நாடு அப்படின்னு பெருசா பேசிக்கிறோம். ஆனா இங்க சிங்கப்பூர் வந்து பார்த்தா அதுக்கு நேரம் வந்து we are only Indian.
ஆமா.
He is not going to see நீங்க தமிழ்நாடா ஆந்திராவா இல்ல நீங்க வந்து ராஜஸ்தான்ல இருந்து வரையலாம்.
They even don't know how many states are there in India.
அது சரி. அது இன்னொரு பிரச்சனை சார்.
சரி, இப்போ முன்னாடி ஆந்திராவா இருந்தப்ப ஒரு கவர்னர் இருக்காங்க சரிங்க. அவங்களுக்கு இங்க லேண்ட்ல இருக்கு. ஆனா அவங்க வந்து ஃபாரின் போறாங்க. ஃபாரின் போயிட்டு வரப்ப தெலுங்கானா அண்ட் ஆந்திராவா பிரிஞ்சிருக்காங்க.
தெலுங்கானா ஆந்திரா பிரிக்கும் போது land would be there in தெலுங்கானா or ஆந்திரா.
தெலுங்கானா.
ஒண்ணும் பண்ண முடியாது. You have to என்ன பண்ண முடியும்?
இல்ல சார், அது ரெஜிஸ்ட்ரேஷன் எல்லாமே
ஆந்திரால இருந்தா just they will not collect any money. அப்படி நேம் மட்டும் சேஞ்ச் ஆகும் டாக்குமெண்ட்ஸ்ல. ஏன்னா ப்ரீவியஸா இட் வாஸ் அண்டர் தி ஆந்திரா கண்ட்ரோல். நவ் தி ரெஜிஸ்ட்ரேஷன் would be under the தெலுங்கானா கண்ட்ரோல். ஸோ அந்த ஆக்ட்லேயே இட் would be அது எப்படி ரெஃபர் பண்ணோம்னா ஃப்ரம் ஹியர் ஆஃப்டர் இட் would be called under the கவர்மெண்ட் ஆஃப் தெலுங்கானா. அது மட்டும் மாறும். மற்றபடி அடிஷனல் சார்ஜஸ்லாம் அது கலெக்ட் பண்ணுவாங்க. ஸோ பார்ட் 2 citizenship, article 5 to 11. Article 5 to 11. Now we are going to decide who are all Indian citizen, who are not Indian citizen. The problem of the citizenship arises because of the partition. Okay. ரெண்டு ஸ்டேட்லயுமே நான் எக்ஸ்பெக்டட் அந்த கொஸ்டின். பாதி ஆந்திரா பாதி தெலுங்கானா. நீங்க வேற வழி இல்லை. இப்போ திருத்தணி சைட் எல்லாம் போனீங்கன்னா the land partially would be Andhra Pradesh, partially would be Tamil Nadu. நீங்க ரெண்டு கவர்மெண்ட்டுக்குமே டாக்ஸ் இது ஆகணும், வேற வழி இல்லை. ஸோ
சார் ஈவன் போட்டர்லாம் கூட நடக்குது சார். போட்டர்லாம் சில பேர்லாம் வந்து அப்பதான் இந்த மாதிரி நிறைய பேர் வந்து மகாராஷ்டிராலயும் ஓட் பண்றா, கர்நாடகாலயும் ஓட் பண்றா.
அதனாலதான் எலெக்ஷன் கமிஷன் ஆஃப் இந்தியா வாண்ட் டு மெர்ஜ் ஆதார் கார்டு டு தி ஓட் ஐடி. அதான் டு பீட் அவுட் அதெல்லாம் நடக்கும். ஸோ வேற வழி இல்லைம்மா. அப்படி இருக்கிற பட்சத்துல நார்மலி பீப்புள் என்ன தெரியுமா பண்ணுவாங்க, இது ஒரு விதத்துல மெரிட்னு சொல்லுவேன் நான். எப்படி மெரிட் சொல்றேன்னா, bifurcation of the state when you have your land which is crossing in the boundary of Telangana and Andhra, ஒரு பர்டிகுலர் ஸ்டேட்ல லேண்ட் வேல்யூ இன்க்ரீஸ் ஆகும், ஒரு பர்டிகுலர் ஸ்டேட்ல டிக்ரீஸ் ஆகும். ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்கா நடக்கும் ரியல் எஸ்டேட். வென் இட் இஸ் இன்க்ரீஸ், இது சிம்பிளா வித்துட்டு இங்க செட்டில் ஆயிடுறாங்க. ஸோ ஜஸ்ட் அது ப்ராக்டிகலா சொல்றேன். ஆனா ரெண்டு both government will have a power to administer your land. இந்த பார்ட் ஆஃப் த லேண்ட் would comes under the தெலுங்கானா, this part of the land comes under ஆந்திரா. அது எக்ஸாக்டா பார்டர் அப்படி பிரிக்கும் போது நடக்கும், நிறைய பேருக்கு அது நடக்கும். அது வேற வழி இல்லை, நம்ம அதை இது பண்ணி தான் ஆகணும்.
இன்னொரு ஆப்ஷன் என்னன்னா, நம்ம அதை வித்துட்டு அந்த லேண்டுக்கு ஒரு ப்ராப்பர்ட்டி டாக்ஸ் கட்டிட்டு இந்த எந்த பக்கத்துல நமக்கு வேணுமோ அந்த லேண்ட்ல வச்சுக்கிறதுக்கு. That's what I told this.
Land value would be increased any one of the newly existing state actually, because people want to that is settle in the newly created state. Automatically land value rise ஆகிறப்ப you can simply sell your land and you can buy in one more property in the existing state. And moving to and your citizenship also very important. Current affairs it's also very important. The thing what we are going to listen, your book is also very very confused one. We have two provision in our constitution. Listen carefully guys. At the time when Indian partition was announced, the mass of the people started migrating towards India from Pakistan and Pakistan towards India. So the Constitution Assembly was completely perplexed that who is Indian citizen. That's why what Constitution actually done at the time of 1950, Constitution merely identified those who are all Indian citizen. Because of the large scale of the migrations happened between India and Pakistan, Constitution simply identified the time of 1950 those who are all Indian citizen based on this domicile, migration, these two conditions. But after that, Constitution gave a power to Parliament. Constitution gave a power to Parliament to create the law on the matter of the citizenship. So as of now, Constitution has no power to deal the matter of the citizenship. Only the Parliament has the power to deal the matter of the citizenship. That is why Parliament passed the Act, Citizenship Act 1955. So whenever the question is asked in the UPSC, the source of the citizenship has two. One is constitution. Constitution identified the citizens of India at the time of 1950. From 1955, the source of the power is Parliament of India. So this was previously asked question. What people think that constitution itself gives the power of the citizen to the people. No, it has identified. It identified the people of India who are all citizens at the time of 1950. Now we are in 2023. We must be administered the law of the Citizenship of Act 1955, not the constitution directly. So we need to discuss about citizens by domicile. I'll discuss you what is called domicile and what is migration and how the citizen is going to be terminated, and we can get a citizenship by registration and dual citizenship. These are the broader topic in the constitutional provisions. And Citizenship Act, how we got a citizenship. We did not get a citizenship through the Constitution of India. If you take your birth certificate and you look at your birth certificate, we are all administered by the Citizenship Act 1955 because we were not born on 1950. We born on 2023. So now the source of the citizenship, the power of the Citizenship Act, which is made by the Parliament, not the Constitution. So Constitution empower Parliament to create any kind of act regarding this citizenship. So now we are all given the citizenship by the birth. That was a provision made by the Citizenship Act. And citizenship by descent also another variant. Citizenship by registration, citizenship by naturalization, citizenship by incorporation of the territory. So we have got 5 ways to get an Indian citizenship.
1950 Constitution.
When our Constitution Assembly drafted the matter of citizenship, so the 1950 migration it simply identified. Identification முடிஞ்சதுக்கு அப்புறம் parliament will decide who are citizen or not. 55 Act. 55 Act. And dual citizenship is not possible in India. And commonwealth citizenship also we discuss. And cessation of the citizenship, deprivations of the citizenship, expulsion of the foreigner. So there are so many problems because of the Indian citizenship. There are a lot of illegal migrants towards India from Assam, that is Bangladesh, and as well as the Pakistan, Sri Lanka, sometimes refugees. Myanmar, yeah, all the neighborhood country. Yes, all the neighborhood country. கொடுக்க முடியாதுமா because refugees are in the ground la எதுல கொடுப்பீங்க? We have got a 5 ground. 1950s slave.
1950 க்கு முன்னாடியே வந்திருக்காங்க.
No, அதுதான் I will discuss with you. 1950s க்கு முன்னாடி இங்க வந்தா why they have not registered? Even if you get into the 1950, India gave a time to the people of those who have migrated towards India. You must register with the Indian government that I permanently migrated to India. Why you did not register your citizenship? Why are you still waiting? Being a question or you should acknowledge the Indian citizenship. Abhina, you must register through the proper form and you must give the Registrar General. Then you will be given the register. இப்ப போனீங்கன்னா why you've been waiting 2023 ன்னு கேட்பாங்க. அது ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்கா நம்மள மாட்டிக்கிற மாதிரி. How did you stay in India this much time கேட்பாங்க.
Sir, but again, Sri Lanka நிறைய refugees நம்ம இதுக்கு வந்தா ஈழம் வரும்போது. So many of them have stayed in India for a considerably long time by process of naturalization and all.
Process of naturalization is only for people, those who enter into the legal route. Visa permit or legal route. Refugees process of naturalization, how we can extend. Refugees are somewhat like they'll simply withdraw everything in their own country and they'll actually enter into the porous border with the acknowledgement of the Indian government. India did not give a visa or permits. They simply entered into the porous border. But India acknowledged, given asylum. Asylum will not be amount to the naturalization. Naturalization is a separate process. You must stay more than 12 years with the acknowledgement of the government as a migrant, legal migrant. These people is somewhat like illegal migrant. That is a difference. So your question is clear. Even before 1950, since you came into the India with the legal route, why you did not apply for? ஆமா கேட்பாங்க. தாராளமாக 1950s கொடுத்துருப்பாங்க, இப்ப தர மாட்டாங்க. அப்போ 1950s அதாவது சொன்னேன், citizens by domicile. If you have a residence in India, you might have given a citizenship. இப்போ it is not possible. So அப்போ residence domicile அந்த partition, when the partition was done before India and Pakistan, so if you have a permanent residence in India, you are given a citizenship. இப்போ the 5 conditionsல ஏதாவது ஒரு condition must be registered and must be satisfied in the 5 conditions, because now the citizenship is administered by the Citizenship Act 1955. இப்போ if you want to that is, if you want to get a Indian citizenship, these 5 conditions, any one of these 5 conditions must be satisfied. Either you must have born in India and descent, your parents or the grandparents or the great grandparents should be in the descendant of India, or you register. Registration na ipo Sonia Gandhi got Indian citizenship by registering, by marrying an Indian, and he came into legal route from the Italy to the India, registered as an Indian citizen. And I'll tell you what is called naturalization, and finally incorporation of the territory. Incorporation of the, in the 5 condition you get it. So what condition is satisfied for our case? Very first one, birth one. So one by one we'll discuss. And corporation is not a citizenship. Or when you run a company, you cannot register a company or corporation in the name of citizen of India. It has to be administered as a Companies Act separately. Corporate body, corporate is not a citizen, corporate body. But sometimes it must be properly defined what is citizen. Citizenship must be given to the people, those who enjoy political and civil rights of the particular land. Political and civil right. Corporate cannot vote for the particular people in India. So political and civil right must be enjoyed. So I'll show the particular video clip that through that how Indian partition. I'll show the official video clip. And the official video clip, you look at the how far Indian partition created the impact on the Indian citizenship, how people really struggled at the time of the partition. It is an official video clip taken from the British archives. Look at this.
Sir, இப்போ PIOs இருக்காங்க. PIOs
Just a minute, just look at this, we'll discuss. Sound எதுல அவுட் இதுல வருதா? Just a minute. ஏன்னா சிஸ்டம்ல ஸ்பீக்கர் கனெக்ட் பண்ணல. இந்த வர இதுல வீடியோ அவுட் இல்லையா? நான் ரன் பண்றேன். அவங்களுக்கு தான் ஆடியோ ஷேர், இவங்களுக்கு இருக்கே ஸ்லைட்டா பேக்ரவுண்ட் வாய்ஸ். சரி, ஆடியோ இஸ் நாட் இம்பார்ட்டன்ட். ஜஸ்ட் லுக் அட் இந்த லைட் மட்டும் ஆஃப் பண்ணு. don't disturb. லைட் மட்டும் ஆஃப் பண்ணு. இது ஒரிஜினல் வீடியோ கிளிப். Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So it was a tendency of the people among the Pakistan and India that only Muslim people would be allowed to live in Pakistan, Hindu people would be allowed in the India. So people automatically thought that being an Hindu from the Pakistan area, better we have to migrate to India. Being a Muslim in India, better we have to migrate to the Pakistan. It was not officially declared that only the respected religious to be allowed in the part, but they're all mostly illiterate people. So it was Pakistan majority area, Muslim majority population. That is, people thought themselves that okay, from hereafter we don't have a place in India being a Muslim, and Pakistani Hindus are thought that we don't have a place in Pakistan being a Hindu people. So better we have to settle in India. This was a large scale migration. That is another blunder of Nehru, I would say that, because without giving the proper instruction, people immediately gave up all their properties and everything in their own land, and they came as a refuge to India, and Indian people made us refuge in Pakistan. That's why it was very difficult to the constitution that who is Indian citizen and who is Pakistan citizen. Because if you go to Pakistan within 2 days, if you come back within India, will you give a, I'm in the position to identify whether you are Indian citizen or not. That is the most complicated part of the Indian constitution, that to identify the Indian citizen at the time of the Indian constitution. After that, Parliament is given the ultimate power to provide provisions for the citizenship of India. So let me take the Article 5. We have discussed 4 articles. So constitutional provisions, Article 5 to, that is by domicile. You know what is called domicile? Place of state. Yes. Let detail discuss about, because the very first thing, constitution identify based on the domicile only. Though India is a federation having 2 levels of the government, center and the state, there is only single citizenship. That's what I keep on asking, that whether you are Tamil or Indian. Yes, we have only single citizenship, the Indian citizenship, and no separate state citizenship. Article 5 to 11 in the constitution lay down as to who are the citizen of India. At the commencement of the constitution on January 26, 1950, these citizens have been classified into citizens by domicile, citizens by migration, citizens by registration. So at the 1950, 3 category of the citizens have been identified by the constitution, one based on domicile, based on the migration, based on the registration. So first one is under Article 5. Article 5 by domicile, very important. The concept of domicile is no more. By domicile, under Article 5, every person having a domicile in India, at the time of partition of India, if you have a residence in India at the commencement of the constitution and fulfilling any of the following condition of the following 3 conditions, you would be treated as an Indian citizen. So you have a residence in India, and that is, for example, if you are residence in a Kashmir, and you must fulfill any one of the following condition. Either you had born in India, either of whose parents were born in India, who has been ordinarily resident in India not less than 5 years immediately. That is, you have been residing in India from 1945 to 1950. You have a domicile in India, or your parents also have been residing in India, then you will be given a citizenship. So the government was not very strict on this particular provision. So either any one of the condition is satisfied and you have a residence here, then you are given citizenship at the time of, at least government never scrutinize your origin. You've been staying in India from 1945, you have a permanent residency in India, then you are given the citizenship of India. This is called domicile. But domicile also to be properly understood, that because yes, only more than 5 years, not below than 5 years. அதான்ப்பா பெர்மனண்டா இங்க இருக்க போறாங்க, அதான் சிட்டிசன்ஷிப்.
இல்ல சார், இப்போ அந்த மைக்ரேட் ஆனவங்க வந்து 5 வருஷம் இங்க இருந்திருக்கணும்.
ஆமா இருந்திருக்கணும்.
அவங்க இதுக்கப்புறமும் நாங்க
இல்ல மைக்ரேட் ஆனவங்கன்னா those who migrated to India.
அதுதான் சார் மைக்ரேட் டு இப்ப ஸ்ரீலங்கால இருந்து அவங்க வந்திருக்காங்க.
ஓகே
ஒரு 1947 or 8ல வராங்க. அந்த மாதிரி டைப்ல வந்து நாங்க இதுக்கப்புறம் இங்கே தான் இருக்க போறோம், நாங்க போக மாட்டோம் அப்படின்னு சொன்னாங்க.
அவங்களுக்கு தான் சிட்டிசன்ஷிப். இப்போ the concept what we article 5 is for those people. அவங்களுக்கு தான் இந்தியன் சிட்டிசன்ஷிப் by article 5 by domicile.
இப்ப சீல பாத்தீங்கன்னா not less than 5 years னு போட்டுருக்கு.
not அதாவது எப்படின்னா not less than 5 year immediately preceding the commencement of the constitution. So commencement of the constitution 1950. So you must have been இங்க at least you must have came here 1945. The 1950s க்கு முன்னாடி 5 years you must have been staying in India. ஒருவேளை if you came 1947 1948 na you would not be given.
Sir, but அப்ப வந்து 1947 முன்னாடி 1947 அப்ப இந்தியால பிறந்திருக்காங்க
citizen, but migrants சொல்றேன் who has been ordinary resident in India for not less than 5 years immediately preceding the constitution. அவங்க பிறக்கல, அவங்க அப்பா அம்மாவும் not born in India, they don't know no origin, but they are residing at least 5 years preceding the commencement of the constitution, they will be given. You clear? So condition A and B are not cumulative. At least you can satisfy any one of the condition. Either you must have been born in India, whose parents are born in India, or you are ordinary residents of 5 years or more than 5 years at the commencement of the constitution. Therefore, any one of them needs to be fulfilled by the person having domicile in India. So you must have domicile, that is, you must have permanent residency in India. Along with that, you must fulfill any one of the condition. This is what. So the term domicile, very, very important. Domicile is not defined in the constitution. Constitution never defined what is domicile. It is complex legal concept, very important, because you know, I don't know what is dealt in lexicon book, but I'll give you the proper definition of what is domicile and what is residence. So very, very important, because now we are dealing with these kind of jargons quite oftenly, because we are given the Aadhaar card. Sometimes it shows that it's a residence, sometimes it is domicile. So article 5 draws a distinction between domicile and resident. For neither domicile nor mere residence is sufficient to make the person of Indian citizen. For
school name நம்ம இப்ப காலேஜ் அட்மிஷன் எடுத்தாலே அவ டொமிசைல் கேக்குறா.
ஆமா, where it is asked in the residence. What is the difference between domicile and residence? That is what I'm dealing with.
நம்ம அந்த பர்టిక్యులர் ஸ்டேட்ல வந்து ஒரு 15 years இருந்தா வேற டொமிசைல் ஆஃப் தட் ஸ்டேட். ரெசிடென்ஸ்னா நம்ம வந்து எந்த ஸ்டேட்ல இருக்கோமோ, இப்போ கரண்ட்லி நான் தமிழ்நாட்டுல இருக்கேன், மேபி ஃபியூச்சர்ல நான் வந்து கர்நாடகால போய் இருப்பேன், இல்ல மேபி ஐ மே ஸ்டே இன் அதர் பிரதேஷ்.
Okay, that is a residence.
So அது வந்து ரெசிடென்ஸ். இப்போ நான் தமிழ்நாட்டுல
that is for internal arrangement of the citizenship. Once if people migrated towards India, avungalukku what is domicile and residence?
அது கொஞ்சம் கஷ்டம் சார்.
அதனால it's a very complex legal concept. Let me explain it, what is domicile and what is resident. Because if you want to get a Indian citizenship, it so even if you have a permanent home in India, that's alone not sufficient factor for giving the Indian citizenship. So let me explain about some of the cases that will clear your doubts. Domicile and 5 years of residence are necessary to make a person of India. Domicile is nothing but you have been in India 5 years. So domicile in India, domicile is in India, and you must have a permanent residency of in India. So domicile plus 5 years. For example, you have your own home in India, but you are not living in your own home for the 5 years before the commencement of the constitution, you will not be given citizenship. You have property only in India, but you don't have intentions to stay in India, you will not be given citizenship. That's why you must have a domicile, you must stay in India. You must have a domicile and you must stay in India for the 5 years. That is called intentions to get Indian citizenship to be tested. Test of intention. Your intention must be tested in the court, that whether you have a real intention to stay back in India, or you want to simply buy a property in India If you really don't have an intention to get an Indian citizenship, you will not be given Indian citizenship. That is what domicile and 5 years residence. You must stay. Domicile is like that. You can simply say that my domicile in India, but whether you are staying in India or not is a question. Whether you've been staying in India for the preceding 5 years, that is a question. 5 years residence are necessary to make a person as a citizen. The basic idea of the domicile is a permanent home. It like your property or whatever is allowed to be permanent home. You can say that you are Indian, but where you are staying now? By staying in London, you can say that I'm Indian. But the question of where you are staying, you have a home in India, you have properties in India. Are you staying in India? Other domicile plus resident. So domicile alone will not give you citizenship. Residence alone will not give you citizenship, but both will give you citizenship. Domicile along with the residence of the 5 years before the commencement of the constitution. Residence in the country and the intention to make this home are necessary to constitute the domicile. You should have a real intention to be stay in India. Without having the intention, simply if you are buying the property, that will not give you citizenship. That is why don't forget about it. Domicile mean residence and intention. Residence, that is you are staying here, and intention, you want to become an Indian citizen. Intention to make his home. That is what domicile. So the residence in a place by itself is not sufficient to constitute his domicile. So domicile plus residence plus intention. Intention. This is what I've given in the equated formation. Domicile, that is you must be staying in India. You must prove that you have intention to become an Indian. It must be accompanied by the intention to make his permanent home. So the concept is called animus menendi. In the Latin terminology, animus menendi means intention to establish a permanent residence. This is called animus menendi. It is like a legal terminology, but you can refer it also. Animus menendi. Establish a permanent resident. Simply buying a property does not establish the mindset of establish the permanent resident. You must prove that I just want to become an Indian. So Central Bank of India, Ram Narayan was an important case in the citizenship. Supreme Court has observed an intention to reside forever in the country where one has taken up his residence in essential constituent. Your intention must properly proved in the court that with the question of the citizenship. By simply merely buying the property is not intention to become an Indian citizen. That is what in the landmark judgment, your intention to reside forever in the country where one has taken up his residence in the essential. That's why Sri Lankan refugees are not given the citizenship, because when they enter into the India, they were clearly they told to the Indian government that once all the problem is over in Sri Lanka, we will go back to the Sri Lanka. This is not intention to settle in India. And other Sri Lankan refugees were not given to the citizenship. So if he claims that he acquired a new domicile at the particular time, he must prove that he had formed the intention to making of his permanent home. So he has been migrated towards in India. At the same time, he must constitute the intention to make his permanent home of the country of residence and continuing to reside in permanently. He must stay in India and he must stay continuously for the 5 years. Residence alone unaccompanied by the state of mind insufficient. So, okay. Indian citizenship, termination of Indian citizenship. For example, basically, if you're a Singapore, they came into India and given Indian citizenship. If they want to become again Singapore citizen, Indian citizenship will be automatically terminated. Once you get a voluntary citizenship of other country, your Indian citizenship automatically terminated, because India will never allow dual citizenship. When you volunteer, that is not a dual citizenship. It is a privilege. BIO and OCI, now it is merged, both of them is merged. It is a privilege that visa free travel. In fact, those people will not engage in any agriculture activities in India. So it is a privilege. That cannot be considered as a dual citizenship. Can PO vote in India? Then how would we call it? When I start this chapter, I told you a person who can enjoy political and civil rights in India, they would be called citizenship. Okay. So I would give you circumstances. It's a real circumstances. If you look at this, an Indian who lived for 30 years in England, an Indian who lived for 30 years in England and died there, was held to have retained his domicile in India. Indian who lived in England and died in England, but basically is an Indian, as he had expressed a desire to come back to India in some of his letter only. So he made a letter to some of the people here that I just want to settle in India. But an appeal, the Supreme Court held that he had no definite intention. By merely writing a letter to your friends, I just want to stay back in India, I just want to become an Indian citizen. This is not the intention. Because the 13 years you've been living in England and somebody died in England itself, this is not the intention. 30 years, sorry, 30 years. Circumstances 2, a foreigner had been living in India since 1937 and for more than 5 years immediately preceding the constitution. He claimed Indian citizenship. I told that preceding, but the Supreme Court rejected. You know why? The Supreme Court held that it could not say that he had his domicile in India for more than 5 years at the commencement of the constitution. Mere residency is not enough. So at the time of the constitution, if you simply come into the India and if you simply stay back 5 years of India, that also does not give you. So yes, residence at the same time domicile both must be. Ivarku domicile irukku. He is an Indian who was staying in England and died. You were a foreigner who simply came into India and simply stayed in India just for 5 years. He is also not be given the citizenship. So domicile as well as residence as well as intention also. Rendu பேத்துக்குமே no intention. If you have any doubts, you can ask. Both scenario are clear. So domicile equal to residence plus intention. And the intention of the concept of animus menendi. Animus menendi. So in the scenario, because mere residence is not enough. What is your intention? That must be proved in the court. So the question was whether the petitioner had an intention of staying here permanently. The burden to prove such intention is the petitioner. If you claim, அதெல்லாம் எழுதியிருக்காரு. ஆனா ஏன் ஒரு நாள் கூட வரல? 30 வருஷம் இங்கிலாந்துல இருந்து ஒரு நாள் கூட வரல. லெட்டர் மட்டுமே போட்டுட்டு இருக்காரு. 30 வருஷமா. At least one day visited in India. You born in India. You are an Indian. You went to England for some other purpose. Why you did not? அதனாலதான் here. The burden to prove. நீங்க தான் burden எடுத்துக்கணும். Because of this only I did not. லண்டன்ல போய் செட்டில் ஆக you have cost இருக்கு. அது court was very clear because it is ready to prove that you are a very genuine case. ஆனா நீங்க if you want to enjoy multiple city, இப்பதான் நம்மளுக்கு எல்லாமே digitization. அப்போ multiple passport எல்லாம் somebody enjoyed multiple citizenship. அதனால you must prove that I have a real intention to be part of India. அது petitioner burden தான். So he was staying in India on the basis of the foreign passport with the permission of the Indian authorities. There was nothing to even remotely suggest that he had formed any intention. He was staying 5 years in India in the foreign passport. Why he has not registered? I just want to become an India. Why he has not shown his intention to the Indian authorities that kindly provide me Indian citizenship? He was staying in 5 years in the foreign passport. Why he has not changed as an Indian passport? So intention is very important. Intention to be the test of intention called animus menendi. So domicile was citizenship now. So we discussed domicile was resident. Now domicile was citizenship. As stated above, India has one citizenship only and no separate state citizenship also. Your question has above arisen whether the same is true of the domicile, whether there is one Indian domicile or there can be separate domicile. Listen guys, we have got, this is very simple. We have got one Indian citizenship, but we have got different domicile. Today, for internal people, those who are living in India, you are a domicile of Tamil Nadu. At the same time, when you go to the foreigner, you are a domicile of India. Internally, you could say that your domicile is Tamil Nadu. Externally, you could say that your domicile in India. So domicile and citizenship are two different concepts. If you look at this, let me take my example. Concept of citizenship is India as a single citizenship. Concept of domicile is India or Tamil Nadu. Either you could say that whether you are staying in India or Tamil Nadu, either it is my domicile. This is also my domicile. I could say that I am Indian. I am Indian as well as my domicile in Tamil Nadu. Supreme Court expressed the view that it was theoretically possible to have a separate state domicile. That normally when we are going in and around of India, my identification is Tamil Nadu. Being an Indian, I am staying in Tamil Nadu. This is my identity. So being an Indian, but I'm staying in Tamil Nadu. Because domicile has a reference to the system of law which a person is governed. Who is my immediate government? My immediate government is not Indian government. Yes, so I'm being administered by the state government of Tamil Nadu. So my permanent residence, my domicile is Tamil Nadu. But when I go out of India, I would say that my domicile is India. So domicile and citizenship are two different concepts. Article 5 makes this clear because under a domicile alone, it's not sufficient to confirm. That is, we discussed domicile alone will not be a sufficient factor for giving citizenship. When we speak of a person having a domicile of the particular country, we mean that in certain matters such as succession, minority, marriage is governed by the law. So if I'm staying in the Tamil Nadu, I must be administered by Tamil Nadu law. That's why my identification used to be Tamil Nadu resident. நீங்க யூபிஎஸ்சி ஃபார்ம் அப்ளை பண்ணும்போது கூட யுவர் பெர்மனன்ட் ரெசிடென்ட் என்ன கேட்போம். ஸ்டேட் ஆஃப் ரெசிடென்ட் அங்க ஒரு 2 காலம்ஸ் இருக்கும் பாத்திருக்கீங்களா? அட்ரஸ் ஃபார் கரஸ்பாண்டன்ஸ் அண்ட் பெர்மனன்ட் ரெசிடென்ட். ஏதாவது ஹேவ் யூ எவர் ஃபில் த ஃபார்ம்? எப்பயுமே கவர்மெண்ட் ஃபில் பண்ணும்போது எதுக்கு இது அட்ரஸ் ஆஃப் கரஸ்பாண்டன்ஸ் அண்ட் அட்ரஸ் ஆஃப் பெர்மனன்ட்
like where is my correspondence address and what is my
address for correspondence for regular
communication. What is permanent address?
Permanent.
So you are allowed to stay anywhere in India, but permanently residence, you may have a permanent resident. That is what the concept. If therefore in one country different laws relating to the succession, marriage and prevail, India le pathina central government is also creating a separate set of law. Every state government will have its own separate set of law. But to identify the particular person, domicile or resident, we must identify the nearby government. My nearby government is government of Tamil Nadu. So my domicile is government of Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu is my domicile. Under the Indian Constitution, the power to legislate on the succession, marriage and minority has been conferred to the both union and the state legislature until the center intervenes and enact a uniform code. The whole India, each state may have its own law. Tamil Nadu, there is a certain rule of the Marriage Act. Kerala is a separate rule for the Marriage Act. The marriage will affect the domicile and residence and citizenship. If I marry a Kerala girl, I may settle in a Kerala, or the person to whom I marry, they will migrate to the Kerala. Abdi பார்க்கும்போது where I'm staying, though my immediate government is my domicile. But I would never say that I'm a citizen of Tamil Nadu. My citizenship always different between my domicile. My domicile can be different from the state to state, region to region, but I am always an Indian citizen. Always an Indian citizen, since only the personal law in India are mostly on religious affiliations. Personal law, that is like your religious law. That statutory modification introduced therein have been almost entirely of an all Indian character. Ida problem. Ipa kaalla kuda we discussed about IPC. IPC is going to be replaced. I think I discussed about the personal law. Personal law we discussed in the fundamental rights also. Is there any particular law regarding your personal affair? Personal affair now, your marriage, succession of the property, adoption of the minority would be applicable only in Tamil Nadu. No law, no such law. Tamil Nadu மட்டும் special is there any law? இல்லையா?
Like இது இருக்கு Indian Succession Act அந்த மாதிரி இருக்கு.
Indian succession throughout India. My question is any separate Tamil Nadu? Central government. Most of the time in the religious affiliations law, both central government and state government can pass a law, but most of the time central government is actually enacting the law. So if state government is also enacting the law, then we need to follow the state government law in the personal matter. But most of the time state government will not unnecessarily interfere in this matter. So that is that very little state legislation, I told you, very little state legislation because of maintaining the uniformity on any matter of personal law, and the two within an extremely small compass. There is not much scope of India. So unless otherwise state passes a personal law, we need to say that personal law must be administered by the parliament. So the Supreme Court has repudiated the notion of state domicile. The court has asserted that there is only one domicile, namely domicile in India. When you are going outside of India, only one domicile in India. You cannot say that you are from Tamil Nadu, you are from Rajasthan. When you are staying inside India, you could say that you are Tamil Nadu or somebody state. 5 recognize the only one domicile, namely domicile in the territory of the India. The court has now emphasized that the Indian Federation is not emerged as a result of agreement, like an American Federation, not a federal state in the traditional sense of the term. So we can't segregate our regionalism. We can't show regionalism while showing our identity. So court also saying that whatever may be the case, even internal also you can say that you are an Indian domicile or the Indian citizenship. India has one single indivisible system with a single unified justicing system having the Supreme Court or the AP hierarchy. So it is not a matter of whether you are staying in Tamil Nadu or whether you are staying in Kerala or Andhra. So you are always an Indian. This is what the domicile as well as citizenship. So I think you are clear about the citizenship by domicile Article 5. Do you have any doubt on this? So domicile, residence, animus menendi. The concept of animus menendi, the way you prove that you have a real intention to stay in India, you want to be you want to get Indian citizenship by intention, not by the letters only. And second category, citizenship by migration. Article 6, citizenship by migration, Article 6. They are, yes, take a small break and come back. Online student also.
Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay, shall we continue? Next, Article 6, citizens by migration. Citizens by migrations. The independence of India was accompanied by the large-scale migration of the people from Pakistan. Here, from Pakistan is very important because people have migrated from India towards Pakistan also. Here, we would discuss about the people who have migrated from Pakistan to India, from Pakistan, as these people belong to the territory which ceased to be the part of India after independence. So from 1947, those particular territory was ceased to be the part of India. They could not be regarded as the Indian citizen under Article 5 because they do not have a domicile in India. So these people would be called citizens by migration. Oh, sorry. Where daily IT team, where is IT team? Mic on many again like that. Yeah, video on. Thanks, Arvind. Sharing your work. So, 1 minute. So they could not be regarded as Indian citizen under Article 5 since they have a permanent residence or the domicile in India. So therefore, special provision had to be made. Therefore, separate article was deliberated for these people. An immigrant from Pakistan become a citizen of India on the following condition. So domicile residency is a different concept at the time of the commencement of the constitution. And if somebody who enters into the India from the Pakistan, Article 6 would be administering on the citizens by the migration. If any one of the Pakistani member who enters into the India, if he or either of his parents or any of his grandparents was born in India, because definitely their parents and grandparents must be in the undivided India. If you are the one who enter into the India from the Pakistan, definitely your parent must be born in the undivided India. You got the point?
Article 5 they are stating that if you don't have a domicile.
If you don't have a domicile, okay.
You are not eligible for this.
Yes.
And Article 6 domicile illenalum.
Yeah, domicile illenal good. Adanal special provision. This is special provision. Domicile illa, but they have migrated from the Pakistan. Now file vande domicile illenal domicile illena no citizenship. But these people in the migrated people administer பண்றதுக்காக. Only people migrated from Pakistan and people migrated towards Pakistan. இதுக்காக. இல்ல will not be given. நம்ம citizenship கொடுக்க மாட்டோம். ஸ்ரீலங்கன்ஸ் மாதிரி தான் தங்கணும். They must prove that you are migrated from Pakistan, but your parents are Indian. அதை prove பண்ணணும். அப்பதான் you will be considered the migrant. Proof எதுவும் இல்லைன்னா first, how could you prove that you came from Pakistan? இப்போ இந்த பாகிஸ்தான்ல இருந்து நடந்து வந்தாலும் சரி, அந்த டைம்ல வந்து இந்தியன் பார்டருக்குள்ள நுழையும் போது ஐடி வாஸ் கிவன். இந்தியன் பார்டருக்குள்ள அட்லீஸ்ட் அந்த ஐடியாவை ஷோ பண்ணணும். ஏன்னா வேற கண்ட்ரி பீப்புள் should have come into the India. அவங்க வந்து இங்க வந்து they might migrate to the India. இல்லதா, ஆனா அட்லீஸ்ட் இந்தியா எல்லாத்தையும் அலோவ் பண்ணிட முடியாதுல்லமா. சும்மா மைக்ரேஷன் பேர்ல டெரரிஸ்ட் எல்லாம் உள்ள வந்தா என்ன பண்றது? கண்டிப்பா நடந்துச்சு மைக்ரேஷன். அப்போ லார்ஜ் ஸ்கேல் ஜெனோசைட் ஆல்சோ. லார்ஜ் ஸ்கேல் ஜெனோசைட் அதெல்லாம் ஹிஸ்டரியில படிச்சோன்னா இன்னும் பயங்கர ரொம்ப பிளட்டியா இருக்கும் அது. பட் இந்த டைம்ல வந்து அட்லீஸ்ட் ஒரு பேசிக் ஐ எம் மைக்ரேட்டிங் ஃப்ரம் பாகிஸ்தான் பிகாஸ் ஆஃப் த பார்ட்டிஷன் ஆஃப் யூ நீட் டு ப்ரூவ். எதுவுமே இல்லாம இங்க வந்து ஹவு வுட் யூ சே தட் யூ ஆர் ஃப்ரம் பாகிஸ்தான் அண்ட் யூ ஆர் ஃப்ரம் இந்தியா, ஹவு குட் அட்லீஸ்ட் பேசிக் ஐடென்டிட்டியாவது இருக்கும்ல. இந்த கொஸ்டினை யூ ஷுட் டிராவல் டைம் டிராவல் அண்ட் ஆஸ்க் டு தி நேரு. சீரியஸா நான் ஸ்டூடெண்ட் அதை இந்த கொஸ்டின் என் கிளாஸ்ல எப்பயுமே வரும். எப்படி சார் வித்தவுட் ஹேவிங் தி ப்ராப்பர் ப்ரிகாஷன் இல்லாம ஹவு பார்ட்டிஷன்னா என்னன்னே தெரியாது. ஆமா, nobody knows. எனக்கு தெரிஞ்சு million of people have been died. nobody knows. Partition என்னன்னே தெரியாது. இப்போ எப்படி நடந்துட்டு இருக்கு அதே மாதிரி India is going to be divided or news when it was spread out. People thought that okay, all the Hindu people from the Pakistan, Karachi, Lahore would be. இதை விட இன்னொரு ஒரு காமெடி சொல்றேன் உங்களுக்கு. நம்மளுக்கு லேண்ட் பார்ட்டிஷன் மட்டும்தான் வேணும். லேண்ட் பார்ட்டிஷன் accompanied with asset partition. And the asset partition, very funny things are happened. Pakistan claimed that 1/3 of the asset of India, and 1/3 of the goes out. 1/3 of the asset. Asset is nothing but reserve bank gold reserve. And all the government property, British government or property, now it is a 2 domains have been created. If in the Mari parliament, parliament furnitures could be given. And the time Bengal library, there is a 1 copy of book, encyclopedia. The book has been cleared equally. Part of the book given to myself, and printing press Xerox machine cleared equally, and part of the still this book in Bengal library. அது ஒரு கார்ட்டூன். உண்மையாக என்சைக்ளோபீடியா காப்பியை 2 கிழிச்சு உன பாகிஸ்தான் அந்த மாதிரி பார்ட்டிஷன் நடந்துச்சு. இன்னும் இதுல ரொம்ப வியர்டான ஒரு இன்சிடென்ட் என்னன்னா, people were identified in the name of religion. Muslim, generally people thought that Muslim people can stay in Pakistan, Hindu people can stay in India. How people can be sent, those who are in the idla irupangala, like mentally disabled people, those who live in asylum, they even don't know which religion he belonged to. On every anupunga whether India ka Pakistan ka. Appo government take a list of his identification. If the particular mental retarded people belong to the Hindu community, na send him to India. Muslim community stay back in Karachi nadandhathu. Avanike theriyadhu what kind of religion he belonged to. But in the documents, if his name seems to be the Hindu name, na on the train la ethi send him to India. So you time travel la poi nama kekku nerunda. Why Nehru admitted in the partition? இல்ல இது பெரிய பிளண்டர். இதோட ஹிஸ்டாரிக்கல் ஈவென்ட்ஸ் எதுவுமே எந்த புக்லயும் இட் வாஸ் நாட் ப்ராப்பர்லி போர்ட்ரேட் பண்ணவே இல்லை. ஹார்ட்லி ஒரு எனக்கு தெரிஞ்ச ஒரு 6 மந்த் கூட பேசல. இவ்வளவு பெரிய கண்ட்ரியை டிமார்க்கெட் பண்ண போறோன்றது ஒரு 6 மந்த் டிஸ்கஷன் கூட இல்லை. எல்லாம் ஈகோல நடந்தது. ஜின்னா பட்டேல் நேரு ஈகோல நடந்தது. ஓகே வேணா போய் பிரிச்சுட்டு போங்க. இது அப்போ இருக்கிற பிகாஸ் இந்தியா வாஸ் நாட் வெல் டெவலப்டு. இந்த வெல் டெவலப்டு நான் சொல்றப்போ ஃபர்ஸ்ட் இந்தியன் இஸ் டு பி லிட்ரேச்சர் கொடுக்க. அவனுக்கு இல்லிட்ரேட்டாவே தான் இருக்கும். இப்போ கூட பொலிட்டிக்கல் நம்ம ரொம்ப பொலிட்டிக்கலா ரொம்ப நாலேஜ் இருக்கா? டு ஹேவ் பொலிட்டிக்கல் நாலேஜ்? இதெல்லாம் படிச்சு இப்படி பார்ட்டிஷன் அப்போ 47ல எப்படி இருப்பான்? 47ல ஒரு பாகிஸ்தானோட வில்லேஜ்ல இருக்கிறவன திடீர்னு from tomorrow onwards you should not stay here அப்படின்னா என்ன பண்ணுவாங்க? அது அதனால மைக்ரேட்ஸ் பிரஸ்ல அதனால it is one of the another blender of Nehru. அவ்வளவுதான். நேரு கோட் இன்னொரு பிளண்டர். பார்ட்டிஷன் அலோவ் பண்ணிருக்க கூடாது நேரு. பிகாஸ் பிரிட்டிஷ் ப்ரப்போஸ் பண்ணிருக்கும் போதே நேரு should have opposed it. அதை அலோவ் பண்ணி சைன் பண்ணிட்டாரு. இந்தியா பார்ட்டிஷன் நடந்துச்சு. So an immigrant from Pakistan become a citizen of India in the following condition: he or either of his parents or any of his grandparents was born in India prior to the independence. That is what undivided India. Either their parent or grandparent must have been born in undivided India. In addition, whether if the parents in addition, so these are all the things to be fulfilled. In case of he migrated to India before July 1948. This date was very important. July 1948. He had been ordinarily resident in India since the date of his migration. But based on the domicile, one should have 5 years of the resident. But if you migrated before July 1948, then you will be given a citizenship. But after July 1948, you must register your citizenship with the Indian government. So here automatically you would be given Indian citizen once you enter into the India. But here the migration was closed if you want to again come into the India after July 1948, he had been registered as an Indian citizen. Here, your citizenship is based on mere migration. Mere migration. Here, totally
migration
stop பண்ணிட்டாங்க in the sense அதுக்கப்புறம் இந்த ஓப்பனா உள்ள வரதுல முடியாது. ஜூலை 19க்கு அப்புறம் உங்க ஐடென்டிஃபிகேஷன் ப்ராப்பரா செக் பண்ண ஆரம்பிச்சு கவர்மெண்ட். ஏன் இவ்வளவு நாள் வரல, why are you coming now? ஏன்னா 1947ல பார்ட்டிஷன் 1 year was given almost like ஜூலை 1 yearல ரொம்ப மாஸ் ஸ்கேல் மைக்ரேஷன் எல்லாம் குறைஞ்சதுக்கு அப்புறம் it was government started a new scheme that ஜூலை 19க்கு அப்புறம் வரீங்க அப்படின்னா you must properly register your identification with the government. அதுக்கு முன்னாடி வர எல்லாத்துக்கும் it was automatically given. ஒரே ஒரு கண்டிஷன் தான், whether your parents must have been born in undivided India and before July 19 when you enter into the India you will be given. In the 1 year gap குள்ள தான் large scale of Muslim population enter into the India. அதுக்கப்புறம் வந்து you must register your citizens with India. A person could be so registered only if he had been resident of India for at least 6 months. So criteria number 1, once if you enter into the India before July 19 you will be given. Criteria 2, if you miss a date and if you come into the India after July 19 you need to wait for 6 months. 6 months to register citizenship. 6 months, after 6 months only you can apply to the Registrar General and you can get a citizenship. So don't forget about this date, July 19, 1948. This was a time sealing time. Before July 1948 there was easy to get an Indian citizenship. After July 1948 you need to wait for 6 months. Wait for 6 months and you must register yourselves to the Registrar General of India and you'll be given a citizenship. What is migration? So people with the historical concept, the migration envisaged in Article 6 only means coming to India from outside. Coming to India from outside and must have taken place before and not after the commencement of the constitution. Because now if you come into the India, you will not be treated as a migrant. You will be treated as an illegal migrant. What is different between legal and illegal migrant?
So illegal migrant without even a visa or passport, you are entering into the country.
Yes, legal migrant you should come into the legal route, either port or airport. And the time the Article 6 was specially introduced in the constitution that to administer the large scale of the land migrant, Article 6 was introduced, but as of now the 6 is no more administered to the newly coming to the population which is entered into the India. So previous slide.
Suppose July 1948 அப்புறம் வராங்க சார், அவங்க ஆனா born and brought up வந்து அவங்க parents எல்லாரும்
India, wait for a 6 months.
அவங்க போய் செட்டில் ஆயிட்டாங்க,
அங்க செட்டில் ஆயிட்டேன்னா இங்க டெர்மினேட்டட்.
மறுபடியும் அவங்க வராங்கன்னா
July 1948 க்கு அப்புறம் wait for a 6 months and you can apply. Wait for 6 months. So next Article 7, termination of citizenship migrated to Pakistan. So 6 is for those who come into the India based on 2 conditions. Citizenship is given July 1948. After July 1948 both must have the parents, they must have born in the undivided India. That is a concept. 7, the person who migrated towards Pakistan from India, we must terminate their citizenship because they are Indian citizens, they have already migrated towards Pakistan. So we must terminate the citizenship of those people. A citizen of India by domicile also we discuss, or migration discuss, and cease to be Indian if he has migrated Pakistan on March 1, 1947. If a person who have migrated to Pakistan on or after March 1, 1947, they will lose Indian citizenship. Whatever the kind of citizenship they have got it, domicile or migration. Yes, அதுக்கு முன்னாடி பாகிஸ்தான் போயிட்டானா they lost their citizenship.
Sir, அப்பனா நீங்க அங்க சொன்னீங்க 5 வருஷம் இருந்தா கொடுப்போம்.
ஆமா, 5 வருஷம் இருந்தானா புரியல எனக்கு. ஆர்டிகல் 5ல சொல்லிருக்கேன்.
ஆர்டிகல் 5ல 5 இயர்ஸ் அவங்க வந்து
ஆமா
இருந்தாங்கன்னா கொடுப்பாங்க. ஆனா நீங்க இதல படி பாத்தீங்கன்னா இதுக்கு முன்னாடி அவங்க மைக்ரேட் ஆயிட்டாங்க.
இதுக்கு முன்னாடி இது யாருக்குன்னா ப்ராப்பர் இந்தியன் if they settled in Pakistan. we terminate the Indian citizenship. இங்கே பிறந்து they are Indian citizenship, but now they don't want to be a part of India. They migrate toward India, so we terminate the citizenship. This is a termination of citizenship, migrate toward Pakistan. So in the date, if they vacated India, they reached to Pakistan. So we, by the notification, those people lost their citizenship.
Really difficult.
Very difficult. Very, very difficult.
யார் வந்து citizen யார் citizen இல்லன்னு அதெல்லாம் தனித்தனியா sort out பண்றதே ஒரு பிரச்சனையா இருக்கு.
அதான் சொல்றேன், the citizenship draft was 100 times amended in the parliament.
then அந்த citizenship இன்னைக்குனா
அதுக்கு அப்புறமும் மைக்ரேட் ஆனா கூட
ஆயிக்கலாம். ஆனா கொஞ்சம் ஸ்ட்ரிஞ்சென்ட்டா இருக்கும். 6 months வெயிட் பண்ணி திரும்பி வாங்கணும் citizenship.
so the process is under digitization.
1 minute.
இப்போ citizenship அந்த ரெக்கார்ட்ஸ் வந்து இப்போதான் டிஜிட்டலைசேஷன் கொஞ்சம் கொஞ்சமா நடந்துட்டு இருக்கு.
ஆமா, அதான் we are weeding out of illegal migrants. அந்த அசாம்ல இது கலவரம் நடக்குது. That is what is your question?
அதுக்கு அப்புறம் வந்து இந்தியன் சிட்டிசன்ஷிப் வாங்கிட்டாங்க. ஒரு 10 to 12 இயர்ஸ் இருக்காங்க.
அதாவது இந்த கேஸ் 7, இந்த ஆர்டிகல் 7ல you are asking about 7.
ஆமா
சார். 7ல people those enter into the Pakistan, இந்தியால இருந்து enter into the Pakistan.
அவங்க வந்து இங்க முன்னாடி இருந்திருக்காங்க சார்.
Okay.
இப்போ அவங்க அங்க
Immediate cancel. அவங்க need not register. When they enter into the Pakistan on or March 1947, அங்க போய் when they register there as a Pakistan citizenship, automatically Indian citizenship cancel. So if however after migration to Pakistan he has returned to India for 2-3 days Pakistanல they stay and again came back to the India under permanent permit of resettlement or permanent return, he can register himself. Previously he was enjoying all the privileges in India without registering himself, but once he entered into the Pakistan he lost his citizenship. Again he came back to the India with the mindset of settling permanently. He must register as a registered citizenship.
இங்க இருந்து போனவங்க கொஞ்சம் கஷ்டம்.
ஆமா, எதுக்கு போறீங்க? அதாவது people have always mindset. அங்க போய் ஒரு 4 நாள் இருந்து பார்த்தோம், எப்பயுமே இருக்கு. பாகிஸ்தான்ல போய் ஒரு 10 days தங்குவோம். அதுதான், அதுக்கு தான் இந்த ப்ரொவிஷன். Once if you 47 on or March 1 1947 previous before that if you go to Pakistan you better terminate, you lose your citizenship or you give back your citizenship. இது எதுக்காகன்னா already government is completely burdened, but some of the people என்ன பண்ணுவாங்கன்னா 10 days அங்கேயும் 10 days இங்கே ஸ்டே பண்ணுவாங்க. அப்ப அவனுக்கு how citizenship would be given? ஒரு some of the people நான் சொல்றது probably 1 lakh people இருப்பான். ஏன்னா இந்த வாகாட்டாரி பார்டர்லாம் நீங்க நடந்தே கிராஸ் பண்ணலாம். வாகாட்டார்ல இருந்து பாகிஸ்தான் சிந்து ப்ராவின்ஸ்க்கு இன்னைக்கு இங்க இருந்துட்டு காலைல போய் இருப்பான், சரி ஈவினிங் இந்தியாவுக்கு போயிடுவோம். அப்போ இந்த கண்டிஷன்ல how we can treat the people, அதுதான் அங்க டோல் கேட் மாதிரி வச்சு people should not. ஆமா, ஒரே கண்ட்ரில அப்போ இப்போ அந்த ஆந்திரா தமிழ்நாடு மாதிரி சேம் கண்ட்ரி. இப்போ பக்கத்து ஸ்டேட் சிந்து பஞ்சாப்லாம் பக்கத்து ஸ்டேட், பீப்புள் காலையில அங்க போயிட்டு ஈவினிங் வரதெல்லாம் இப்போ பிகம் அ செப்பரேட் கண்ட்ரி. அதுவும் எலிமினேஷன் இருந்து when people enter into the India and நம்ம we are also enemy to the Pakistan, when Indian enter into the Pakistan there must be very strict law because people will not realize the sensitivity of the problem.
இப்போ யாராச்சும் வரணும்னா அலோ பண்ணுவாங்க.
வரணும்னா லீகல் ரூட் தான். Legal route, only legal route. நீங்க you have to come through the airport or port.
இல்ல சார், நான் அது கேக்கல. அவங்க போய் இந்தியாக்கு மைக்ரேட் ஆகுறாங்க.
சரி,
பாகிஸ்தான்ல இருந்து ஒரு பக்கம் வராங்க, ஃபேமிலியா வராங்க. ஆனா அவங்க ஃபேமிலி கிடையாது.
அதனால தானே நம்ம either their parents must have been born in India or country undivided Indiaல. அப்போ they must prove that their parents must have been born in undivided. அப்ப 1947 முன்னாடி their parents at least been இந்த இந்தியால இருக்கணும். அது கூட ஐபி ரொம்ப ப்ராப்பரா they will watch each and every activity of these people. நார்மலா இங்க வந்தா கூட இப்போலாம் 6 months இல்ல, இப்போ they have to 12 years வெயிட் பண்ணணும். 12 years வெயிட் பண்ணாதான் சிட்டிசன்ஷிப். அப்போ 6 monthsன்றது மைக்ரேஷன் இஷ்யூனால. இப்போ எங்க மைக்ரேஷன் இஷ்யூ? இப்போ இந்தியா இஸ் ஓவர் பாப்புலேட்டட். we cannot give citizenship just like that. So they must stay 12 years. The entire 12 years they must be under the IB surveillance. Let's say local police station they must register that where their residence is. நம்ம படிச்சல domicile resident local police station they should inform that அதெல்லாமே அந்த மூமெண்ட்ஸ்லாம் வாட்ச் பண்ணிட்டு தான் சிட்டிசன்ஷிப் கொடுப்பீங்க. So 7th one and Article 7 envisages only those persons who migrated Pakistan between March 147 and January 2050. In between the gap, in between March 1 to 1947, migrated to Pakistan, they lose the Indian citizenship. If they come back again,
March 1, 1947 to
January 26, 1950, commencement of the constitution.
அது ரெண்டு place
Oh, sorry. March 1, 1947 to Jan 26, 1950. In this state, Article 7 envisages only those persons who migrated to Pakistan between March 1, 1947 and January 26, 1950. So, those persons lost their Indian citizenship. Those persons lost their Indian citizenship. The question of citizenship of person migrating to Pakistan after January 26 has to be decided under Indian Citizenship Act. I think you got a difference. Before 1950, it was administered by the Constitution provision Article 7. After 1950, if somebody migrate toward Pakistan, we need to administer those people by Citizenship Act. Citizenship Act. 1950 varaikkum dhaan these people. 1950 oda Article 7 was completely expired. Ippola Article 5, 6, 7, it was no more in Indian Constitution. So after that, it was administered by the law which was enacted by the Parliament. And so conflict with the international private law. This is another important thing. Here domicile was the same. That is, a woman born on the explanation here. A woman born on domicile in India going to Pakistan on March 1, 1947 would lose her Indian citizenship under Article 7, even though her husband remained in India. So you got the scenario. Husband is in India, but undivided India lab. If her matrimonial house is in Pakistan, if she went to Pakistan March 1, 1947, she would lose Indian citizenship, even though her husband remained in India. Purida?
No, sir, but what if she went there just to visit her family? She's not going to stay there permanently. Still, she'll be considered.
Yes, they have to get a special permission from the government authorities, and she come and meet the husband, or either again he has to register as Indian citizenship to get into the India.
Okay, sir.
Got it? This is what happening, all the problems in the migration. So conflict with the international law. எந்த இடைப்பட்ட காலத்துல சொல்றீங்க? அதான் சொல்றேன், திரும்பி தான் 6 months கழிச்சு தான் கிடைக்கும் citizenship. 6 months வெயிட் பண்ணணும். 6 months you are under surveillance. அந்த 6 monthsக்குள்ள you should not go to Pakistan. Within the 6 months should not go to Pakistan. அதான் permanent residence. அதுக்கு தான் இந்த ரெஸ்ட்ரிக்ஷன்ஸ்லாம். போயிட்டு ஜம்ப் ஆயிட்டே இருந்தா கவர்மெண்ட் அத்தாரிட்டி என்ன பண்ணுவாங்க? 2 days Pakistan citizenship, 2 days India citizenship. Then you think about the government authority. Adu newly formed Indian government. They also don't know the rules and regulation. So her domicile was the same as that her husband. International law party, wherever her husband is staying, it is the permanent domicile of the wife. Normal international law. But in the Article 7 is contradicted with international law. But not 1950 pola. So a woman born in domicile in India going to Pakistan on March 1947 would lose her Indian citizenship under Article 7, even though her husband remained in India. But Ipola, it is not applicable. The concept of domicile has been excluded from the scope of India. Article 7 we should not confuse with the domicile. So, in the migration or a broader way, the word migration has been used in the sense of people going from one territory to the another territory, whether or not for the intention of the permanent resident. So here, a narrow view, migration used in Article 6 was adopted by the Supreme Court. Migration was envisaged to mean coming to India with the intention of residing permanently. There are 3 views in the migration. In Article 6, normally we say that in Supreme Court also adopted that people came for a very good lifestyle or intention to reside in the permanently. Adha paathom. Intention, animus menendi. But the court dissented from the view that migration used in Article 6 and 7 a broader sense and not in the narrow sense as meaning coming from the territory, another without bringing the concept of domicile. So Supreme Court keep on changing the view also. In Article 6 or in the very first view, Supreme Court on the rende scenario we discussed, Supreme Court held that you must have the proper intention to become an Indian citizenship. Again, Supreme Court relaxed that in the very narrow sense. So the meaning of the migration is going or coming from one territory to the another without bringing the concept of domicile also. Even though you need not to have an intention, then migration might be happen. The court pointed out that Article 6 and 7 make special provision. It is only applicable to the special provision, Article 6 and 7, those who migrate in the large scale towards another territory. In the normal scenario, Article 6 and 7 would not be applicable. So here, this article lays down the special criteria of their own. In one case to decide who shall be deemed to be the citizens of India, and here other case who shall not be deemed. Article 6 is actually applicable for domicile resident, either they must have born in India. Article 7 would be applicable those who have migrated towards Pakistan. So 6 is about providing citizenship. 7 is about termination of the citizenship of India. So constitution maker did not intend that the concept of the domicile should be brought into the 6 and 7. So 6 is normally providing Indian citizenship at the time of commencement of that is constitution. 7 is about that is termination. This voluntary migration concept is also very important. Since you asked this all the question, you will be clarified now. The movement should be voluntarily and should not have been for a specific purpose and for a short time period. This is called voluntary migration. First condition is it should be voluntary. Second condition, it should be specific purpose. Third condition, it should not be short and limited purpose. If you look at this, so myself, I have a Pakistan passport. I don't have a Pakistan passport. It is actually example. So I don't have Pakistan because the class is also recording. Came back to India on a Pakistani passport 1954. This second, start from this scenario. A boy of 12 years, consider a boy of 12 years age who left for Pakistan 1948, leaving behind his parents in India. Myself, not really, just 12 years boy leaving their parents in India in 1948 and came back to India on a Pakistan passport in 1954. Again left to Pakistan and came back to India in 1956. Was held to have lost Indian citizenship because of migration. So I was 1948 I was Pakistan, 1954 I was Pakistan, 1956 again I left to Pakistan. In the sequence, the whiteboard. Let me take a whiteboard just a minute. Oh, yes. (1956), 1948, an Indian boy left to Pakistan. So Indian boy left to Pakistan and 1954. So once Indian boy left to Pakistan, but parents are here. His citizenship was terminated in India. Pakistan citizenship given. He came into the 1954 to the India and again he went to Pakistan. Again he went to Pakistan, and in 1956 again he came into the India, and claimed that I want to be a part of India. India will not give citizenship. Although their parents are staying here, he has been, ஏன்னா இந்த 12 years சொல்றேன்னா, இந்த 1948 இருந்து 1956 இப்போ 12 yearsனா 1956 what was the year age? 1948 to 1956, 20s it become a voluntary migration. 12 it might be the forceful migration. On the time we can wait for giving the Indian citizenship. But 1954, 1956 when still if the particular boy is still he has a Pakistan passport, India will not give Indian citizenship, because 18 plus migration is a voluntary migration. 54 what is the age? கண்டிப்பா 54 பாகிஸ்தான் பாஸ்போர்ட்டை சரண்டர் பண்ணி இந்தியாவுக்கு வந்தா they be given. ஆனா அந்த வராத பட்சத்துல will not be given. ஆமா போயிட்டால, அதான் சொன்னேன், அதே கான்செப்ட் தான். அந்த அனிமஸ் மெனண்டி இன்டென்ஷன் எங்க வந்திருக்காங்க, இந்த இடத்துல தான் இந்த டிரான்ஸ் 948 to 54 we have been waiting because 12 years தான் parents are here. 54 become 18, 54 to 56 still Pakistan passport was not given. அதாவது சரண்டர் பண்ணல. So why should we give Indian citizenship? Where is your intention? Do you want to be a Pakistani or India? So 12 years போன ஒரு boy, when he came as an 18 year, India waiting 18 years what is the decision? Because parents are living here. So if you still don't have any intention to become an Indian citizenship to given, will not be given. Are you clear? Yes, this is what Article 7. Oh, sorry. A doubt now you discuss with me. Why are you discussing each other? Are you confused or clarity இருக்கா? ஏன்னா உங்க bookல highly confused the concept. So Article 8, that is, I'll finish with the Article 8. Citizen by registration. Apart from Pakistan or Bangladesh, if anybody who enter into the citizen by registration, according to Article 8, a person who or either of whose parents or any of whose grandparents was born in India, who is ordinarily residing in any country outside India and Pakistan. So Article 6, 7, that's exclusively for Pakistan. 8 is for apart from Pakistan, if anybody of those who are residing any other part of the country, but the parents belong to the India, may register himself as a citizen of India with a diplomatic or consulate representative. So if you are a child of Indian parents, you are staying in some other country, you can go and you can register yourself in the Indian diplomatic consulate on conferring that. So this provision confers Indian citizenship on the person who prima facie has no domicile in India. You don't have any resident in India, but your parents belong to the India. So Article 8 also provides provisions for giving citizenship other than Pakistani people. But their parents must be in India. ஸ்டடிஸ்க்கு போனா இஸ் இந்தியன் சிட்டிசன். பாஸ்போர்ட் ஸ்டடிஸ் போகும்போது இந்தியன் பாஸ்போர்ட்ல தானே போறான். பாஸ்போர்ட் கொடுத்தாலே which country passport you hold, அதான் அந்த கண்ட்ரியோட சிட்டிசன். இல்ல சார், இப்போ ரீசன்ட்டா இதெல்லாம் வந்ததுக்கு அப்புறம் அதெல்லாம் வரதுக்கு முன்னாடி சொல்றேன். ஓகே, அப்போ அவங்க யுஎஸ்க்கு அனுப்பிட்டாங்க. யுஎஸ்க்கு அனுப்புனா கூட பாஸ்போர்ட்டோட தானே போக முடியும். நான் 1950லயுமே if you send யுஎஸ்னா கூட எந்த கண்ட்ரி சிட்டிசன்ஷிப்ல போறாரு அவர்? நான் சொன்ன சினாரியோ 12-year boy sent to Pakistan under Pakistan passport. 12-year it was not treated as a voluntary migration. Again 18 plus year he must decide whether he should hold a Pakistan passport or India passport. அப்போ அவங்க பேரண்ட்ஸ் அங்க போய் மைக்ரேட் ஆயின்ற ஐடியா இருந்திருக்கலாம். சரி
இந்தியன் பாஸ்போர்ட் காமிச்சிருந்தா அவங்களுக்கு
இந்தியன் சிட்டிசன்ஸ். ஆமா நான் ஒரு எக்ஸாம்பிளா சொன்னேன். பாகிஸ்தான் பாஸ்போர்ட்ல போனோம் 18 இயர்ஸ்ல தே மஸ்ட் சேஞ்ச் இட், அதர்வைஸ் வில் நாட் பி கிவன். அது ரியல் சினாரியோ இல்ல. அந்த ரியல் சினாரியோ நீ கன்ஃபியூஸ் பண்ண கூடாது. ஐ கிவன் மை போட்டோ.
சரி அவங்க இல்ல பட் அவங்க பேரண்ட்ஸ் வந்து அவங்க பையனோட இதுக்காக ரெஜிஸ்டர் பண்ணலாம்.
நோ, பேரண்ட்ஸ் பண்ண முடியாது. ஏன்னா 18 பிளஸ் ஆயிடுச்சு. தே ஷுட் கம். அதனால தான் we have been waiting for 6 years. 12 yearsல he cannot decide whether he could go.
சப்போஸ் 10 12 இருந்தா கூட பண்ண முடியாது.
சப்போஸ்
10 12 இயர்ஸ் இருந்தா கூட
பண்ண முடியாது. So 18 years வரைக்கும் we need to wait. 12 yearsல guardian parents பண்ணலாம். Which passport they should be sent, என்ன passport. 18 க்கு அப்புறம் he must decide whether he should hold the Indian passport or Pakistan passport. அதுதான் அந்த minor major differenceல. So this is what the scenario. So article 8 deals about it. Apart from Pakistan, if any of the child of Indian parents are staying outside of India, they must register in their country. Need not to come here. They must register in their country because every country Indian consulate is there. Indian IFS officers will be working. Register, and by proving that I don't have a domicile in India, but my parents are actually ordinary residents of India, or they are born in India. Based on that, Article 8 provide the registration. You register in their territory, and you will be given an Indian citizenship. So this is what Article 8 is. So 5, 6, 7, 8. In the rest of the article, we will discuss in next class. So, are you confused? Yet, Dara, everybody speaking with me. Work. Settle means UK போகும்போது Indian passport. Indian or UK? Okay. அந்த பையன் UK citizen. ஆப்வியஸா கொடுக்கலாம். ஏன்னா both the parents are still Indian தானே. இந்தியன் இது இருக்கலாம், கிராண்ட் பேரண்ட்ஸ் ஆர் இந்தியன். ஆப்வியஸ்லி they will be given Indian. அவர் போய் அங்க இந்தியன் கான்சுலேட்ல இப்போ வந்து பிறக்கும் போது UK citizen. So based on the parent citizenship, definitely he is entitled to become Indian citizen. கண்டிப்பா அதான் இப்போ அவங்க பேரண்ட்ஸ் அப்ளை பண்ணிக்கலாம். அவங்கள ரெஜிஸ்ட்ரேஷன் தேவையில்லை, ஏன்னா பேரண்ட்ஸ் இந்தியன் தானே. ஸோ இப்பயே வந்து நீங்க இங்கே ரெஜிஸ்டர் பண்ணி யூ கேன் கெட் இந்தியன் பாஸ்போர்ட். நோ ப்ராப்ளம், பிரச்சனையே கிடையாது. அங்க இருந்து புதுசா இந்தியாவுக்கு உங்களுக்கு சம்பந்தமே இல்லை, யூ ஆர் என்டர் இன்டு இந்தியானா யூ நீட் டு வெயிட் 12 years. அதான் சோனியா காந்திக்கு நடந்தது.
But again, அது வந்து it's again subject to இது. இப்போ வந்து for example, they can choose to come visa free to India. இப்போ என்னோட cousins வந்து அவா குழந்தைக்கு they have got an OCI card. OCI card போட்டுட்டு வரா.
Yeah, அவங்க OCI cardல, but this lady asked about the change of citizenship. OCI is a status as I told.
அங்க வந்து ஒரு ரைட் இருக்கு. தட் வந்து 18 வயசு ஆனதுக்கு அப்புறம் the child can decide.
அதான் சொன்னேன் 18 வயசு. That's what I told you this much of time, that after 18 years a child may decide. Your own brother, ex-brother. Okay, yeah, definitely he can apply now. Because parents both of them India, அதனால டெஃபினட்டா. ஆனா நம்ம என்ன பண்றதுல இந்தியன் சிட்டிசன்ஷிப்பை பையனுக்கு என் பையன் லண்டன் சிட்டிசன்ஷிப் அப்படிங்கிற ஒரு கிரேஸ்ல அதை அப்ளை பண்றது இல்ல. கிரீன் கார்டு யூஎஸ்ல இல்ல, யூஎஸ்ஏல தான் கிரீன் கார்டு. பட் ஒருவேளை இந்த என்டையர் ஃபேமிலி வாண்ட்ஸ் டு ஷிஃப்ட் டுவர்ட்ஸ் இந்தியானா டெஃபினட்டா அந்த பையனுக்கு இந்தியன் சிட்டிசன்ஷிப் வாங்குவோம். அதே தான் நான் சொன்ன இந்த கான்செப்ட்ல தான். இப்போதைக்கு பேரண்ட்ஸ் ஆர் கார்டியன். 18 yearsக்கு அப்புறம் the boy must decide whether he could have a UK passport or Indian passport. 18 years வரைக்கும் பேரண்ட் டிசைட் பண்ணணும் என்ன பாஸ்போர்ட்ல இருக்கான். 18 years அந்த மைனர் ஸ்டேஜ்ல. ஆஃப்டர் 18 years அந்த பாய் should decide.
பட் இப்போ பிரச்சனை என்னன்னா அங்க வந்து you are allowed to hold two passports.
இந்தியால நாட் allowed.
இந்தியால நாட் allowed. சோ அதுதான் பிரச்சனையே. இப்போ அவன் வந்து he wants to hold a US passport as well as an Indian passport.
எப்படி 18 க்கு மேல you 18 plus you must decide. Until 18 you can enjoy the privilege. On 18
அப்படி US பாஸ்போர்ட் வெச்சிருந்தா உங்க இந்தியன் பாஸ்போர்ட் நல்லா வாய்ப்பு.
இப்போ 18 வரை கிடையாது. 18க்கு அப்புறம் you must decide and surrender one of the passport. 18 வரைக்கும் you can either you have come to India or go to UK or US. 18க்கு அப்புறம் you decide whether you will return, because அங்க by birthல citizenship கிடைச்சதுனால either they can enjoy parental citizenship இந்தியாவையோ by birth citizenship UK they can enjoy. ஆனா 18க்கு அப்புறம் should decide. அதெல்லாம் சும்மாமா, அதெல்லாம் கிடையாது. நீங்க ஃபிளைட்ல கறந்தா கான்செப்ட் இஸ் அப்போ கூட ஃபிளைட் பண்ண பிறகுதுன்னா அந்த பேரண்ட் விச் கண்ட்ரி, பேஸ்ட் ஆன் அந்த பேரண்ட், அந்த மதர் விச் கண்ட்ரி, அதானே நீங்க அந்த ஃபார்ம்ல ஃபில் பண்ணுறது எழுதணும். அது உலகம் பூரா சிட்டிசன்ஷிப் கொடுப்பான்றதெல்லாம் அப்படிலாம் இல்லை. ஸோ ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஆஃப் ஆல் நியர் டெலிவரி நாட் அலவுட் போர்டிங். ரொம்ப நியர் டெலிவரியா இருக்கிறவங்க போர்டிங் அலோவ் பண்ண மாட்டாங்க ஃபிளைட்ல. எக்ஸ்ட்ராடினரி கேசஸ் ட்ரீட்மெண்ட்டுக்காக போகணும்னா அலோவ் பண்ணுவாங்க. இல்ல இன்டர்நேஷனல் லா இருக்கு அதெல்லாம். அந்த மதரோட ஆரிஜின் என்ன, ஆமா அது இருக்கும். ஆனா மோஸ்ட் ஆஃப் த டைம் இந்த மல்டிபிள் சிட்டிசன்ஷிப் ஃபிளைட்ல பர்த்ங்கிறதுலாம் இட்ஸ் எக்ஸாஜரேட்டட் வியூ பேஸ்ட் ஆன் த பேரண்ட். அண்ட் அதுவும் காம்ப்ளிகேஷன் வருதுன்னா அந்த டிராவல் ஆரிஜினேஷன், எங்க ஆரிஜின் ஆகுது டிராவல், அந்த கண்ட்ரி, இதெல்லாம் இருக்கு. அதனால நிறைய ஃபார்மாலிட்டிஸ் இருக்கு. இப்போலாம் சிட்டிசன்ஷிப் இஸ் வெரி ரெஸ்ட்ரிக்டிவ். ஏன்னா இப்போ நீங்க சொல்ற மாதிரி ஒரு பாகிஸ்தான் லேடி a boy was born in American air or American sky. அப்ப எல்லாத்துக்கும் அந்த பையனுக்கு அமெரிக்கன் சிட்டிசன்ஷிப், லேடிக்கு பாகிஸ்தான் சிட்டிசன்ஷிப் கொடுக்க முடியுமா நம்மளால? அது the person those who migrated and staying permanently UKல, இது ஆக்சிடென்டல், இதுக்கு எப்படி கொடுக்க முடியும்? ஆக்சிடென்டல் பாண்ட் கொடுக்க முடியாதுல்ல, ஒரு ப்ராப்பர் கிரவுண்ட்ஸ் வேணும்ல சிட்டிசன்ஷிப் கொடுக்க. ஸோ நாட் பாசிபிள் எனி. ஏன்னா இது highly difficult for a constitution assembly. I tried maximum to make it very clear. So இதுக்கப்புறம்லாம் very easy because the constitution identification it was very difficult to identify. So இதுக்கப்புறம் we would discuss about the Indian Citizenship Act by birth. What are the requirements to become Indian citizenship by birth, by descent, by registration, naturalization, and the way how our citizenship will be lost. So there are 3 ways we will lose our citizenship. In the next class, we will discuss about it. Any doubts? Online students, do you have any doubts?
Sir, I just wanted to again just ask you. So, article, we can summarize it as Article 5, 6, and 7.
Put your question in the comment box. Put your question in the comment box.
Okay, sir.
ஆமா அதே 12 years தான். 12 years இல்ல, இங்க அவங்க லீகல் ரூட்ல போனா, லீகல் ரூட்ல வந்தா they have to wait 12 years. இல்லீகல் மைக்ரேட்னா ட்ரிவன் ஆகும். அலோ ஆமாம்மா, அவங்க எந்த ரூட்ல வந்தாங்க? நான் நியூஸ் பேப்பர்ல படிச்சேன், இந்த ஃபேஸ்புக்ல இது பண்ணிட்டு இங்க அங்க போயிட்டாங்கன்னு. எந்த ரூட்ல போனாங்க? வெதர் லீகல் ரூட் ஆர் இல்லீகல் ரூட்?
லீகல் ரூட்டாவே இருந்தாலும் அவங்க கேட்பாங்க வாட் இஸ் தி பர்பஸ், நீங்க இருக்கிறதுக்கு என்ன, இங்க வரீங்க
மேரி பண்ணி இந்தியனை மேரி பண்ணி, ஆமா விசிட் விசால வந்துட்டு நான் தே மஸ்ட் அப்ளை, நான் இங்க இருக்க போறேன் 12 years, ஸோ ரெஜிஸ்ட்ரேஷன் பண்ண போறேன். பிகாஸ் அதாவது அவங்க மேரேஜ் பண்ணதுக்கு அப்புறம் தான் சிட்டிசன்ஷிப் அப்ளை பண்ண முடியும். இங்க 60 days வரலாம் விசிட்ல, இங்க மேரேஜ் நடந்துருச்சு, அப்போ தே கேன் அப்ளை தி, பிகாஸ் பண்ணிட்டாங்கன்னா தே கேன் அப்ளை, இங்கே இருக்கலாம். டிபெண்டன்ட் ஹஸ்பண்டோட இங்கே இருக்க டிபெண்டா இருக்கலாம். ஓட்டிங் ரைட்ஸ் கிடையாது 12 years. அதுக்கப்புறம் ஓட்டிங் ரைட்ஸ் கொடுக்கலாம். Sir, can we summarize the article 5, 6, 7 is related to Pakistan migrant? Yes, exactly. 5, 6, 7 are neighborhood Pakistan relation. 8 is for non-Pakistan, other countries. Yes. Any other doubt, or shall I wind up the class? Okay, see you, bye-bye. We'll meet in the next class.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank you,
bye-bye.
sir.
Thank you.